Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome to the 2022 release year of Momentum Mod. How's everybody doing? Welcome. My name is Nick, aka Goknek. I'm the lead dev and project lead of Momentum Mod, here to answer all of your beautiful questions that you've asked us on Discord, and we got quite a lot. So hopefully this doesn't take too long, but some of them are kind of quick, so we'll see. I'm joined by some of my awesome teammates. You guys can go through the Discord list and introduce yourselves, and we'll get going.
I guess that's me first. Yeah, I'm a programmer. That's about it. Just program.
You make UI. No, right now you make
That
UI.
too.
Yeah,
Weapon
that's all
select.
we all do right now.
Every
All
bit
we
of
do.
programming, yeah.
Yeah, every facet.
A web.
I'm Tom, Fingerprints. And I'm mostly doing UI at the moment.
Let's try UI effort.
Stuff, yeah. We're doing some fun stuff this month, actually. I'm a pro.
I'm XP Man. I'm here for moral support. I also do mapping sometimes.
Heck yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of UI work done recently because of our next two versions are a lot of UI updates. So getting over to Panorama. So hopefully through all of the gameplay that you've seen in these Q&A streams, you guys have been enjoying our progress that we've been making. And if you have access to the game, hopefully you've been enjoying it firsthand as well. So we got some... Yeah, we are nearly there.
Nearly finished.
Yeah, we have a couple, probably like 8 more total panels until we can just completely...
Big ones are nearly done, and then...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, leaderboards, map selector, those have been kind of the bigger panels. Now we're working on the smaller HUD panels like weapon select, HUD comparisons, things like that are just really specific, as opposed to, oh yeah, this UI needs to show every single map and be able to filter, and also like, you know, all of the fun feature related work there. So yeah, when it comes to keys as well, we have a couple of surprises. 10 surprises, actually, to be exact, in this stream. So keep an eye out. Be fast on your fingers, and hopefully you don't get blocked by Steam redeeming the keys. There are a couple that are pretty hidden, too. So it might require rewatching on YouTube as well. So anyway, let's go ahead. Let's get started. Let's go into this first question here by Wozniak.
All right.
Yeah, Wozniak asked, what's the official standpoint on plus strafe at AHop? I know Tom has some choice words for that.
Yes, we all do.
I'm
gonna take this one
in case people throw rotten fruit at us.
We're starting it off pretty hard. Also, sorry, XB Man. We didn't know if you were attending or not, so I just dedicated Bred to the questions this time. So it's all good. But we're starting off with the hard-hitting question, plus strafe and AHop. It's kind of a hot topic, mainly because where we're coming from is implementing a mode that only exists in 2 games currently. So AHop is accelerated hop. It's not auto hop or whatever. That like it's always fun to see people say like, "What the hell is AHop?" So like accelerate, yeah. It's like, yeah, right? Like who knows? So anyway, the AHop implementation that we're going for isn't exactly 1-to-1 as found in Half-Life 2 and Portal. For example, Portal actually has different like air cell, I believe, as well. On top of the fact that we don't have any fall damage, right? You're not really going to be using weapons or SMG nades in particular at all in the mode. I mean, we could allow weapons, but we're not really trying to get the Half-Life 2 run feel. So when it comes to plus strafe, the main contention around this input is that it completely remaps how another part of your input works. When it comes to binding keys to do things, right? Like binding alt to do like plus jump or something, right? That's fine because it's a 1-to-1. But when it comes to plus strafe kind of completely changing the way that your mouse works, and like the main contention that we've had as a team and just as implementing this mode is, how do you teach that, right? Like how do you teach like, oh, you're going to need to learn how to do this specific mechanic in order to, like, very specific, oh, it's going to remap one of your other inputs, and then you have to get good with it. And I'm not saying there's no skill with it. I think that plus strafe is pretty interesting. I've never really, like, done a run with it or anything like that, but I think it has its place in Portal and Half-Life 2. But in Momentum Mod, I think that what we're looking at instead is what it's being used for. And, like, unanimously, it's used for AFH. You don't really want to use it for ASH. ABH, you never need to press S at all, so it's not used there. For those unfamiliar with plus strafe, it remaps your mouse to be movement. So you would hold down a key that remaps your mouse to move for you, as opposed to WASD or whatever, plus forward, right? So the problem with that is it's akin to plugging in like a joystick, right? And you would hold down a key and move your mouse slightly down, and that's pressing S as far as AHop's movement is concerned. And so the problem with that is that it's getting rid of the difficulty of AFH and making it effectively the norm. And while that's great in Portal and Half-Life 2, I think Momentum's AHop could probably benefit from making AFH a little easier to do. And what we're proposing, and what I'd actually love to do, is just remove plus strafe, but add a 3 to 5 tick window of pressing S. So you don't have to press S right when you hit the ground. It would be just kind of this buffer right before hitting the ground. And I want to see how movement AHop like pros that are used to plus strafe like that. I think that this kind of compromise is a better solution overall, because not only do we not have everybody just learning plus strafe and like completely decimating the other modes of movement, but you would have kind of this dynamic like, well, the tick buffer, by the way, we also tick buffer the sticky bomb launcher currently. So when you're actually shooting stickies, we look at kind of like this. I think, do you remember, Bray, how many ticks? Is it like 3 or so?
It's in seconds, actually.
Oh, okay.
Probably find it.
Yeah, so we have a buffer window anyway of when you click to shoot your sticky bomb, right? Because a lot of the times you might click very, very too soon, where it's like almost at the point where you can actually shoot. So we actually look at that and store whether or not you attempted to shoot, and then fire the sticky bomb on the first like game frame or tick that we can.
0.05 seconds.
Oh yeah, so that is one. Wait, 0.015?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's one tick. So
0.05. Yeah.
Oh, 0.05. Gotcha. Okay, so that's
yeah,
it's like 3 or 4 ticks. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, 4-ish ticks on 66 ticks. So the idea would stem over to AHop as well. We would have a tick buffer for that S key press. So that's kind of the goal. We did do a poll, and it was insightful to see kind of why people thought plus strafe was beneficial for it. But I think that really deep down, having some sort of buffer, having AFH be easier and not completely ruining the mode, right? Having AFH be easier for the for people to learn, and then have it be this unique form of movement in AHop is the, I guess, like the best path forward that we could try. And so we're going to try that, and I'm hoping that people keep an open mind to it, because yeah, it's really hard going from something that you're really used to in other game modes, or other games, sorry, and then coming into our game and being like, wow, this, doesn't exist. It suck, but not giving it a fair shot, right? So hopefully people aren't, extremely biased against this approach, but this is ideally healthier for the overall look of the mode. In our opinion.
Right, it was primarily the people that play with games that have plus strafe prefer it. Most of the people one of the telling things I think is like a lot of the people that are really good in AHop and learn it from just in Momentum, like Samuel and Ninja, aren't keen on it. I don't know, like whatever if we have it or don't have it, that just changes the way AHop looks in the future. Like you can play any map in the map pool currently, and there's stuff on each map that's significantly easier with plus strafe.
Yeah,
that's going to affect every map that gets made from here on out, and potentially tiering of the map. And it's like it's not one. We can't like partially have plus strafe or something. I don't think, or like if we have plus strafe, we have to accept that it becomes a very commonly used thing. And if does it make the mode more unique? It's another
I mean, you
thing.
kind of have to,
I just don't think it makes it better.
Yeah.
And
the
the most common argument we had in that spreadsheet, I think, was just that that why not have it because it's in Half-Life 2 or Portal's rules. That's just not relevant to us. Like,
yeah,
it's because the reason you can do it in HR2 and Portal is because it happens to be bindable in the settings, which to speedrunners counts as reason enough. We do actually want to decide based on like what we want in the mode in the long term, not based on some fairly like arbitrary ruling. So
yeah. What were you saying there, Bray?
I mean, if we had plus strafe, it's kind of like you're almost forced to use it. If you want
if you want to, there's a lot of parts of current maps that if you want to, the map becomes like if you play AHop Drift, sections of Drift become much easier with plus strafe. Monochrome, the Edibles new map, it's much easier with plus strafe. It's much easier.
Yeah.
And
so the buffered window is just our approach to kind of compromise on reducing the difficulty of AFH, making it more viable, while not having to completely remap your input. That is the main concern that I have. Is just like, I know that you can technically bind a key to remap your keyboard, right? Like you can exec like a config, but the problem becomes like it would be basically required for the mode, right? Like it becomes the like thing you have to do, and we want to explore just adding this buffered window that if you press S at all during this kind of 3 to 4 tick buffer, it will still work, so you don't have to worry too much about extreme timings of a singular tick of when it applies. So it becomes hopefully much easier, and I think that when that's the case, a lot of people might be hopefully convinced that plus strafe, because again, plus strafe it's only used for AFH, right? It only gets used for AFH. It's to make AFH easier, right? So if we make AFH easier in another way that doesn't rely on completely remapping your inputs, making it kind of impossible to teach, but rather kind of still explain, oh yeah, you have to press S as you're about to land, right? Still having the original kind of I guess motivation behind the way that you do AFH. I think that's probably better overall. Again, we're early enough so that any change that we end up deciding to do here can be debated, reverted, etc. We want to try this tick buffer and just see how people like it. People get really opinionated over things that already exist, and we know that. But we want to try this just to see what it's like. And if it's better, or if it feels around the same, perfect. That's what we're hoping for. So, all right. Was there any other input on this question?
I think so. I think this is going to go on for ages. The whole
that was the other thing too. Is like,
I don't know. It's
okay. So hopefully that answers it. It's an ongoing discussion. We'll be having a lot of feedback from players here. We want to try it. It's one thing to just use it, but it's another thing to actually try it. So, all right. We'll go ahead and move on. Thank you, Wozniak, for starting off our Q&A stream with the hard hitter. But yeah, cool. This is Miswift, by the way. They said in the original question how to pronounce it. Miswift.
Okay, Miswift asked, do we have a choice on which country we can open the server for lobbies? So there's no real central location of a server, or it's not really even a server, it's just a lobby, and all network is done peer-to-peer. So I hope that kind of clears that up.
Yeah.
And
no synchronized game state or anything. You get people's position packets when you get them.
Yep.
And other packets
there might be like leaderboards and stuff that you can look at for like within your country, but also we're not storing IPs or anything, so that would all be kind of self-reported through your Steam profile.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can change it through your Steam profile to be in a different region if you'd like. Yeah. For the leaderboard. Sorry. For the leaderboard. I guess if you use a VPN, it could change where you are for the server. But I don't know. I think Steam actually prohibits that. So don't. I don't know. Make sure you read the Steam subscriber agreement thing. I actually don't know the term on that. But when it comes to hostable lobbies, the dedicated lobbies that we've talked about before, yes, you will be able to choose exactly where you want to throw it. And ideally, it's the same as any other dedicated server. You throw it on a VPS, like a Linux box somewhere, and host it, and you can connect to it. And where that is hosted would be where the information goes and goes out. So
my webcam frozen?
Oh yeah, it looks like it is.
Yeah,
All right, there you are. That's weird. I did not notice that. All right. Anyway, yeah.
I think the question maybe was, can you set your lobby to only be visible to people in a certain country or something?
No, I didn't take it like that, but no, we wouldn't be able to limit that.
It's not part of the Steam API, right? So just don't think that's exists.
Though if we have dedicated kind of like lobby server things, you could probably, we'll have password authentication, so you just give the password, right? Just like servers, right? So you can do that, and then just give it to the people you care about in your country. Blast it on your country's Facebook page or something. Anyway, yeah, so hopefully that helps. That helps answer that. It's peer-to-peer, so it's just where you two are going through Steam's network for the majority of the lobbies right now, and then dedicated lobbies, you throw them wherever you want to host them. You can host them on your PC, or you can throw them onto a dedicated machine elsewhere and connect to it. It'll be kind of versatile like that. So, cool. Was there any other input for this question? All right, thank you, Miswift.
Okay.
We'll move on to the next.
Yeah, next question from Yungcat. Will there be any weapon inspects on cosmetic? I mean, we're already sending appearance data, right?
Yes.
For Go, so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, the inspect, I think, are more things like you look at your own gun. You know, like in CS or something, like you pick up your gun and go, oh, what's this? And then put it back on.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
I would say yes to both, but
It depends if Vortex wants to do an animation, I guess.
Yeah.
Vortex is here, so...
Vortex and Spring will be working on...
Yeah. Oh, and Spring, of course, yeah.
Yeah, and so, yeah, it's... that is a good point, though, Bray, about there's the TF2 one that shows the weapon. I mean, it's to promote the economy, right? It's to show literally the like what type of weapon they're wielding, because there's also different types of like base weapons. So we could have something like that. We could have a little like when maybe if you click on their player while you're spectating them, you could see like what's their loadout or something. But yeah, obviously the inspect animation is actually really simple to add. So we could add a little command so that you could look at your pistol while you're surfing down the ramp or something, like looking at your knife, twirling your hot dog knife between your fingers, stuff like that. We'll have ways to animate.
Nice knife, dude.
We already have that command from CS:GO. I think we just don't react to it.
Exactly.
My flashlight button keeps getting bound to it for some reason.
Oh yeah, yeah. When the defaults kick in, yeah.
We'll be doing a bunch of animation work and rigging stuff soon as well. So
yes,
we'll probably have a much clearer picture of exactly what animation stuff we need, but when then. I assume we'll end up with a big spreadsheet of shit we need, and that'll be in there.
Yeah. Yep. So hopefully that answers that, Yungcat. Thank you for the question. We'll move on to the next.
Another question from Yungcat. Will there be more maps added to download inside Momentum?
No.
Yes.
No, we went we spent over a month making a map selector, but we think we've got enough now.
We have 115 maps. That's more than enough to satisfy you guys for like.
We will absolutely be adding tons more maps.
A week.
Primarily
map selector. It doesn't actually draw from a database. It's all hard-coded links.
All hard-coded links to the and it's just so much effort to add them in. No. Facetiousness aside, absolutely, yes. So I guess talking about kind of the map release plan that we have going on. The first step is O10. We need to get a new zone format in a bunch of entities that mappers have been requesting or that we would like to add to help simplify a lot of map logic. We want to get those in place. But then the idea is we effectively, from that point onwards, if there's anybody at all interested in zoning and adding maps or like getting maps ready for us, we can start to add this giant Google sheet and just kind of blast that around. And ideally, we have kind of a team structure of like there's somebody in charge of a game mode, and then there's a bunch of people under them like contributing and zoning and just getting status updates to that person, and then we just report to that person, and we can get all of the maps basically prepped and ready for momentum. We're going to need zones, we're going to need screenshots of all the maps, we're going to need the maps fixed up, removing all of the TF2 entities that we don't need anymore, all the hurt triggers that we don't use anymore, changing the teleport trigger, sound files, models, removing mounted game assets from like TF2, like how we did with Surf Utopia, because we cannot ship those mounted game assets with our game. So we're instead going to remove them, make a smaller map size, but also on the other side require you to actually install TF2 and CSS in those games, which the map selector will also be updated to show. The idea is then to get basically as many maps as we can humanly like get ready by 1.0. So all of that process will just be taking place by the community while we work on the rest, like replay, refactor, the clan system, like cosmetic system, all of that getting in place as well. So like that is gonna like O10, and I know a lot of people are really excited about it. And there's I think a couple more questions about O10. That's going to be the kind of like kickoff point for a lot of content to be added into Momentum, to be tested, because we can add all of these maps, and then just like by the time we go to 1.0, we can then kind of clear up the list and go in order of kind of maybe people's favorites. The other thing we need to keep in mind is that we don't want to overwhelm players with like so many maps to play at first. All right, we want to kind of add more content over time, just so that people, first of all, have a reason to come back to the game, but also secondly, that people don't get overwhelmed. They try out new maps, gives them breathing room. They can try the maps that are already there, maybe set a couple PBs, try to go for maybe top 10 or something, and then as maps kind of keep getting dropped, it builds more excitement for the different modes. We could try to prioritize like AHop and stuff like that. So,
but especially brand new maps as well. Like if someone's actually made a new map that's not just a port,
yeah,
you want to release that in such a way that it doesn't just get flooded with all the other maps. Because
exactly,
just really disheartening for mappers if we release your map, like you might not necessarily want your map to come out on day one of launch, because even if you've just finished up the map round then, because there's going to be so many, not like I said, not like a billion maps, but there's going to be a lot of existing maps, so you might not want to be part of that massive initial pool. The other thing I just wanted to add is we'll make the process of zoning a lot clearer after 1.0. Sorry, O10.
O10,
where you will have detailed docs guides for changing entities, doing sound stuff, all that boring stuff. All the
kind of our porting checklist is like what we'll be calling it. We'll probably even put it on our docs site, like our momentum docs, like what we go through when we port a map. When we could also have a review checklist be public as well, so mappers can look at like what we're going to be looking for to reject or whatever a map. So that kind of stuff, we really want to be transparent. There really should not be like, oh, I don't like you, so your map's not added, but I didn't want to tell you that, so rejected and no other comment, right? Like we want to have like a very fair and open set of guidelines for adding maps and zoning and all of that. So
but also just making it clear to people means that they're spending less of their time learning, can just actually get on with it. Because we don't want to have someone like having to spend hours sitting around just figuring out how to do the basic porting stuff,
right?
That, someone else could have done in 20 minutes or so.
Or less.
We'll make learning how to do it all like very clear, and maybe we could do some streams doing some porting stuff potentially. We've got a bit of a weird thing in that the question just asked in chat is our literal next question from that.
Yeah, I was just looking at that.
So speaking of that, thank you, Yungcat, for this question. Let's double up. We got to ask in the chat, and we got to ask in the Q&A live.
Yeah. Ofen says, "Can I be a zoner, please?"
Yes.
Professional zoner.
Absolutely. Everybody is welcome to do it. I mean, obviously there should be coordination. We don't want 5 people zoning the same map. we don't need that. We want people to spread out.
Classic.
Oh God, yeah, we're gonna definitely need to standardize. But like ideally, you know, there's as much help as needed to going into porting maps. And ideally people are choosing maps that they like and, you know, porting them and just doing the effort there. You know, the zoning tools after 0.10 are going to ideally be the most like easy, straightforward tool to use in the game. And then the other aspect of that too is if you're making a momentum on map, you can use momentum's hammer and VBSP to rip out those zones automatically. So like there's those 2 avenues to zone a map. But yeah, ideally the in-game zone tools are what's going to be used a lot. So they're going to be redone in Panorama with a lot more options around helping with like snapping to the geometry of the map, and just a lot of really nice quality of life things, being able to select zones, teleport to them, and like be able to fix up zones, because we might also need to fix up zones if there's something wrong and we didn't catch it, so things like that. So absolutely,
there's a lot of things that can go wrong with zones that kind of need to be taken into account. For instance, like the size of the end zone, like how tall it is. It's kind of arbitrary most of the time.
Yeah.
And it could make a large difference to how people play a map.
Yeah.
Also just putting checkpoints in like sensible places. And
on linear maps, if your checkpoints are all like grouped up at the start, or if they're in places that don't really matter, then it can be kind of bad.
Yeah.
We might maybe want to do more checkpoints than some existing servers and stuff have, especially given the new UI at end of run. Well,
it only right? I mean, there's a certain point, but it only benefits speedrunners to see like how fast they are at specific points in the map. So ideally, big turns, big corridors, things that are kind of clear there. But yeah, I mean, that's just going to be part of the zoning, the porting document, right? The porting, zoning, getting a map ready document. Absolutely. And then also the other one is how close to the edge of a ledge a zone is. Because if you have to like flick and go up to the edge, if you have it too close to the edge, you can hit it and the run. So stuff like that, making sure it's like pushed in a little bit, so you actually have to make it onto the platform. Things like that. It'll just all be documented.
Especially with a very precise game like this, you'll be surprised how much like some tiny little difference in where the zone ends and stuff can like change a route or something. So.
Yeah, you can kind of clip into walls a little bit when they're angled, and that lets you clip into end triggers when you really shouldn't.
Yeah.
Headbug into the end trigger.
Oh God. Yeah. There's a lot of bugs like that. It'll be fun. It'll be fun though. So absolutely, we'll be looking out for as much help as we can get. Obviously, we'll be shotgunning keys to people that are very interested in helping. So stick around in our Discord, because that's kind of where it'll be announced. If you aren't in it, !Discord, or in our bio. But yeah, so hopefully that answers that. All right. Thank you, Ofen. We'll move on to the next question here.
Bobman asks, "Can I have keys?"
No.
How long do you want to leave that one?
No, yeah, sorry, no.
We aren't giving out keys, no. So, sorry. All right, let's move on. Thank you, Bobman, for that question.
And then the next, Randy, can I too have keys?
You know what, Randy, you changed my mind. Yeah, you can have a key. In fact, I think I even gave Randy a key, so this is actually an old question. But yeah, you can. Yep. Thank you for changing my mind, Randy. We'll move on to the next one.
Back to Ofen. Lots of questions from Ofen. Will mapping mode be an in-game setting so you don't have to restart the game to map? I think we have a desire to ditch it.
Yes.
I've heard about it, but
Yeah, I haven't formalized it.
Definitely need a safe system in place, though.
Yep.
Yeah.
The goal.
Yeah.
The goal is to get the game to verify if your settings are good by the time that you're starting. So by the time that you're going to start a run, we verify all of the settings are good locally. I mean, obviously, that's not our run submission verification, but that's part of it. So like we will prevent or let you know that you have not default settings if you're like changing any of the settings there. If we already do that with like cheats enabled or something like that. And then if preventing the change during the run. But the nice thing is the run verification that we'll be doing server side is going to just know what settings you should have, right? So if you do change any of that through cheat engine or whatever, your run will very quickly be invalidated. So like the goal is to get the game client to just understand what it needs to be legitimate, right? And then having the a good run server side run verification in place. And then we will ideally get rid of a mapping mode. I agree that booting the game in a separate mode, unless you're doing something like engine tools, like particles or something like that, it's not really a good approach. And so ideally, the mapping revolution should be easier now because you can easily change things from in-game to see kind of how a different max velocity and things like that will affect your your game or your map. So yeah. Ideally, it is going away. That's going to take some time. Obviously, we want to do it when we're implementing our run verification server. So when we get that in place, you'll probably see it go away very soon after. But it is planned to go away. I mean, I know ideally sooner is better, and we might actually prioritize it for like 0.92 or 0.93. And then that way, it's just like, who cares? Because we already do have cheated times. Again, times don't matter. They're going to be wiped by 1.0 anyway. But the goal would be to get mappers a quicker, I guess, a quicker way to iterate on their settings and set the things they want. There's also things like the defrag, like physics type and things like that, right? So like people have to boot the game in a completely different mode to change the defrag physics types and stuff like that. So things like that, where it's just like, it'll make it more convenient to like play the game, I guess, right? So yeah, so absolutely it will not be an in-game setting. It will instead be ideally just like part of the whole run verification, because that's the whole reason, right? Like we made it a separate boot so that's like the game doesn't even try to submit at all. We just cut off like run submission in mapping mode. But like if we just do that automatically at the start of your run, then you don't need mapping mode. We would warn you, hey, you have not default settings, and then just not submit it, but we could save it locally still. Like there's still that avenue of like, maybe you want to see what a run with 3 billion max velocity looks like. I don't judge, right? So yeah. Yeah, that was there any other input for that? Even though that was, I guess, more of a me question, because yeah, I haven't formalized that card yet. I do need to create a card on GitHub for it. Cool. All right, we can move on. Thank you, Ofen, for that question as well.
Next question by Lotus. Will there be an anti-cheat passed back? Definitely.
I don't even think we're
no,
because
we aren't.
Yeah,
so
we're not
easy to circumvent.
Yeah. So, I feel like run validation is like
yes. Yep.
Yep.
I don't know how much we can really talk about it.
We've talked about it before in the past. Yes, there absolutely will be. We are not using VAC at all, actually. If we were to actually issue any bans, we would do game bans through Steam, but I don't even think we'll do that. We'll see, but like, yes, there absolutely will be. There will be I talked about it, I think in the first stream, there was a question about how will we ensure the integrity of times. And the main 3 pillars, I guess I'll reiterate, there's new faces here, right? So there's validation, or verification, validation, and punishment. And so for verification, 2 of the kind of steps, it's more of like barrier to entry kind of stuff. So one thing that we're going to require you to have is a Steam profile. We've already run into this, surprisingly. People create Steam accounts and don't have a Steam profile set up. We need your name. Like, we need your username. Like, we need an avatar. Like, we need to know who you are. So you got to set up a Steam profile. And then the second thing, in the future, we've kind of disabled it for now, but in the future, you're going to require to be unlimited on Steam, which means you have spent $5 of your own money on anything in Steam. Anything, any game, well, actually, I don't know what they qualify, but any like game or qualified purchase, I guess, through Steam. And that marks your account as unlimited when you do that. And then when that's the case, we can allow you to submit to our site. So you can still play, you can create a Steam profile and still play the game, but you won't be able to submit anything unless you're a verified or an unlimited profile. We think that this is probably the best to kind of just curb people straight up creating new accounts and smurfing. It's not the end all be all, right, of prevention, but that is kind of the idea of the barrier to entries. There's other things that we can do that I don't want to talk about right now. Maybe way down the line we can reveal kind of what we've been doing, but it'd be information related to you in the game. So all of the things you give us, right, you're connecting to our services. So this is information that you're giving us. And then we'll also have probably a formal privacy policy kind of related to the information that we might be collecting. But don't worry, we don't need things like personal information. We don't care, right? Like you can be whoever. We want you to be able to be anonymized, but we want to be able to tie you back to who you are. The second, the middle column there, I just kind of talked about it with the last question, the verification, or I think it was validating your runs, right? That's going to be server-sided run validation, right? And we're making sure that your run is legitimate. It's not just that, but that is the brunt of it. That's probably going to be around 80% of the anti-cheat there, is making sure your runs you're doing are valid. The other 20% is breaking down into things like looking at maybe statistical analysis kind of ideas there, looking at who you are and what you do. A lot of it's going to be manual review. If we ever have any automatic detection, it's only going to be for flagging and going to a moderation kind of queue. The other thing too, right? The main thing to keep in mind is that we are a free-to-play game being worked on in our free time by people that are not being paid. So anti-cheat in general is always going to be an uphill battle for us, and we're aware of that. And I know there's probably people that don't like us existing compared to their $200 a month private server, but I genuinely believe that we'll have enough in place to be able to curb a lot of it. The main theology, I guess, that we subscribe to for anti-cheat is the most effective form of anti-cheat is going to be wasting people's time, because there's really nothing else we can do as a free-to-play game. If we cost money, then it's wasting people's money and time, but at some point, right, like, people get really dedicated to breaking your shit. I'm loving the Please Play Conk. We will absolutely be playing some Conk. I don't actually know if Please Actually Play Conk was redeemed at all, but anyway. No. It hasn't yet? Okay.
No.
Wink, wink. Anyway, we'll play Conk. We'll be playing a bunch of stuff. So, and then I guess the last pillar, I talked about punishment there, kind of already hinted at it, right? We want to waste people's time. So hard banning might not be the only option we have. Just leave it like that. You have to think about what people are cheating to accomplish. So that's kind of the view of anti-cheat. We'll hopefully be a little more open as time goes on. I'm sure if all of these systems work and work pretty well, I would love to do a talk about it. I would love to, right? Like it'd be really cool to talk about like maybe systems or ways to think about anti-cheat for a free-to-play game, but there's only so much we can do. So we're gonna try our best. Uphill battle and everything. It's kind of more of a battle of attention of like who's going to lose interest first. Would it be like is it easier to cheat in like CS:GO and have more of an effect for the cheater there than it would in Momentum? Because that would be more of like a win, right, in our eyes. So like somebody just sees another game worth cheating for. I don't know. There's a lot of like stuff like that. So anyway, fun times with cheating and anti-cheat. We'll be doing our best though. We'll be absolutely doing our best to prevent it. Right now, again, it's all client side, like submission, cheated times all over the place. It's okay, right? We want people to break the game. That's kind of the emphasis right now. Times are going to be wiped. We're going to be wiping for 0.10.0 when we go all the way over to our S3 buckets, and then another wipe again with the 0.11 replay refactor when all of your old replays won't even work anymore. So like, yeah, we want people to break the game. I think another topic in one of our previous Q&A streams was the idea of a bug bounty, of like kind of like this bug bounty of getting like a rare in-game item that's only available if you find and break the game, or find something in the game and break it. We could do things like that. We could offer really cool items that nobody else can get, something like that. So that way it's like it's promoting you guys at least being honest with us, trying to break maps in the game and helping us out, because yeah, we need as much help as we can get. It's, you know, like considering the limited size of the dev team versus the potential infinite amount of cheaters or cheat developers, right? Anyway, yeah. So we'll try our best to approach anti-cheat in a way that isn't too. We're not going to have a kernel level. I'll mention that as well. We're not going kernel level. We're not that desperate. I know that that's an effective way, but it's such an invasion of privacy. Exactly. Oh, yeah. Backdoor your fucking kernel.
A full-time webcam hand show.
Yeah.
Stream directly to our Momentum on Twitch channel. We'll just show everyone that's playing at once.
Yeah, we're gonna get into the NFT market now. I'm just kidding. Anyway, hopefully that answers that. There's a lot of information kind of scattered throughout previous Q&A streams. I recommend going through them. It's a lot of
forum posts as well.
Yeah, there's also the forum post. That's a good point. Thank you, Tom. There's the forum post I made on it as well. That kind of breaks that down. If somebody in chat wants to get that, yeah. So, thank you, Lotus. We'll move on to the next question.
Well, we got a question in chat that is kind of on the same vein. Justmoonit asked in chat, how are y'all gonna deal with past live runs?
Gotcha. Movement recorded. Yeah, gotcha. So movement recorded.
Like tasks, like the task leaderboard and stuff.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, did you want to, or sorry?
No, you can.
Okay. Yes, that is a very good point. Tool-assisted speedrunning, that's TAS. TAS is a longer name. Tool-assisted speedrunning is absolutely going to be supported officially in the game. We want to have in-game task tools and in-game task leaderboards. We want that. We would love to support that. I personally love task runs, but I know the question was moving more towards movement recording, which is doing a task run then playing it back like in real time. With that's where statistical analysis is going to play a large role. You can get really human-like behavior from movement recording. So relying on metrics more than just what's submitted in terms of input is going to be essential.
But the way that input is with our replay format and stuff, we can do a lot with that data as well, though, right? Like,
yes,
pass a lot out of that. And
yes. And the nice thing about being a full game is that we can collect more information than a server can. So we have more access to what's happening. Again, any little bit that we can try, we'll try, well within privacy related concerns. We don't want you to think that we're trying to steal your Google documents or something. But tasks, on the other hand, we're hoping that the task leaderboards and in-game task tool kind of lead people more towards doing that. I would hope, going to a sketchy website to download sketchy hack versus in-game beautiful task tools that have a supported leaderboard would be the best option. However, people are people and people suck sometimes. So yeah. The funny thing is, though, what we could do is if somebody does movement record and we detect it, we could throw them onto that leaderboard and have like a little like third party tag or something, like tongue in cheek, being like, nice run. We corrected your category or something, like tongue in cheek, being like, stop, stop doing this. You should go and do the official task. That kind of stuff too. We could try to do that. Again, wasting people's time, the most effective form of it, and seeing what they want out of it.
One other thing I just
cheater
like
board.
to say about the anti-cheat is like, if you want the cheat to get, like, you're not going to be able to cheat a ton of runs and get like a super high rank in momentum or something. Like, even if we were to like miss some case of some cheating in one instance, like it's going to be very obvious if someone is doing for the most part.
Yeah.
And like the cheating I'm more concerned about are the cases, the more common cases in sort of speedrun cheating, it seems, where people cheat because they're lazy. People that are good cheat because they're lazy. And
they're at the top, yeah.
We're all familiar with people here, really good players who are just lazy. And that's what the little Minecraft guy did, even, right? The one did all the fun probability pigman stuff.
Oh god, Dream, yeah. That whole debacle. Oh god.
All that stuff. It's just people.
I hope we have one just like that.
But lazy and don't want to grind for stuff. And I think we'll be quite good at catching that. And if people do that, they're really risking a lot if they start using their like legitimate account for using their main account to submit cheat times. And if you're submitting cheat times on some alt account, that like it's going to be very hard for you not to get noticed if they're all cheat stuff.
The other aspect of that too is what False brought up is like usually these communities are pretty well knit, like close knit.
Yeah.
I know we're globalizing it, so it's going to be a little harder to be closer knit. But when you have somebody just pop out of nowhere with this sick ass like world record run, it gets a little suspicious. Like if it's somebody rather unknown, but yeah, like it's. That's what I mean though by statistical analysis, just looking at how long have they played, like
how many sessions, like run sessions, have they started beforehand, and how many have they submitted? Did they just like launch the game and immediately
get a world record?
There's stuff that like it doesn't necessarily prove that they're cheating, but it's stuff that helps for further like investigation.
Exactly, and that's just one avenue. Too. It's not the only thing we'll be looking at.
Yeah. And it's really depressing, but I'm actually confident about it. And I think like it's kind of exhausting thinking about it, and it's worrying, but
you have to think of literally every possibility.
It is really quite positive. Right, yeah. It's just so hard to anticipate everything and to, and it's something that will take time to sort of combat proactively, I'm sure. But I think in reality we can do pretty well. Anyway.
Virtual, I'm actually, that's a good point. I hope Virtual will take interest in Momentum. I think Trackmania and Momentum could get along really nicely because we have a lot of similar gameplay goals, speedrunning, ILs stuff. Yeah, so
very similar.
Anyway, sorry, getting off topic. So hopefully that answers that. Absolutely, tasks will be a supported feature with supported leaderboards. Hopefully people like that and want to use them and use that to optimize the shit out of maps. So we'll move on. Thank you. Sorry, I clicked off. Was that
That was Justmoonit.
Justmoonit. Thank you for that question. Try though definitely try to get questions in the Discord so that we can prepare. It's not that we don't like questions taken live. It just also throws us off a bit with with timing.
We've got a lot of questions still.
Yeah, we got a lot. So we'll keep going. This might be a bit of a longer stream. It's okay though. All right. We'll move on to the one This key's been up for like 45 minutes. If nobody's gotten that key, I'm going to be so disappointed. So disappointed. Especially you, Bobman. You asked for keys.
I thought you put it in there because the ward key is in. Anyways, Bobman.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Add momentum on drops to Twitch like cosmetic keys, etc. I think they mean a different thing when they mean keys, but
yeah, no, actually, so I was looking at it. The way that Twitch does kind of, was it viewer, I forget what they call it. It's like some other term. It's not called drops anymore, but it's colloquially known as drops. It's like viewer enrichment. Anyway, yes, there is a way that you can link Twitch to our site. Then we link our site to Twitch's backend for drops. So then what you do is, like, we would require you to link your Steam account, or sorry, your Twitch account to your Momentum account, right? So you have your Twitch linked there, and then you would be able to get drops via Twitch, just being like in people's streams and stuff. We could do that. We could have we could hook up like Twitch drops to our channel whenever we do like Q&A streams or something. We could drop some like Momentum Twitch rocket launcher sort of thing for that. I think that'd be pretty cool. Kind of promotes people hanging out with us, right, as we stream. We do it for other, if big streamers want their own cosmetics and want to represent themselves in the game, we could do that. Team up with kind of bigger streamers or something like that. I think that'd be really cool.
Tournaments and stuff will definitely be doing.
Tournaments, yeah. Tournaments are a really great thing. Surfs Up, things like that, representing game modes. Yeah, I think that'd be fantastic. So we'll look into it. Right now, not really. We could try to hook up keys to it, but the problem becomes, I think it's like we can only, first of all, we can only generate a limited amount of keys. And the way the granting works is like you would go back to our site, and like if you redeem a drop, like it's weird. So there's a lot of web related work that needs to go into it, but it is something that we want to look into in the future. So absolutely. Yeah, it is planned. Any other input for this question? Cool. All right. Thank you, Bobman. We'll move on to the next question.
All right. Hex.
Hex.
Oh,
Is there any nice and convenient place where these streams are saved with timestamps for ease of viewing for those who may have missed the live stream?
No. Just kidding. Yes.
No.
No. We delete the VODs. It's exclusively live.
It's been so useful actually having this the shock.
Yes.
Where Hex did actually put all the previous questions in one massive Google Doc, which we will be updating after every live stream. And I check this thing like once a day because someone asked like a complex question in the Discord, and rather than like type a response, I just read the document
and link them
Control
to
F to find it in there.
Mm-hmm.
So if no one's posted it yet, I think this is the correct one.
Should be pinned in Q&A live.
Pinned in Q&A, yeah. So
yeah. So yeah, we have a Google document pinned in our Q&A live channel on Discord. That is every single question asked with the timestamp to the video. This is very useful for people that might have a general question to ask us live here. Definitely check out that document. We don't mind kind of re-answering, as you've seen before with the anti-cheat question. We don't mind re-answering. There's new people every now and then. But yeah, hopefully that helps. We upload to YouTube with timestamps in the description. And maybe even something more in this video's description, wink. So yeah, check out our YouTube. I guess Bray linked it in chat. Feel free to check them all out. They're fun to watch at 2x speed, much faster than I talk right now. Anyway, yeah, they're a good time. So hopefully that helps. Hex, thank you. Hex is a team member. Helps out a lot around the Discord. So thank you for asking this helpful question. Not a lot of people are aware that we do that. So it's not just on Twitch. It's also over on our YouTube that you can check out timestamps and stuff for. Cool. All right, we'll move on.
All right. Trico Everfire. That's a P2C person, isn't it?
I believe so, yeah.
I recognize the name.
Yeah.
Will we be able to script for momentum? So kind of depends on what you mean. We don't have vscript, but I mean we do have a scripting layer for Panorama. But
yeah,
I think he's asking about vscript.
Or chaos
things
script.
that you could do with vscript or chaos script that are more convenient than doing them with like entities. And for that stuff, I think it would be preferable just to make them into proper entities that do the behavior you want.
Yeah.
But adding like all of vscript for the mappers to use would make the map review process a lot harder, and it would also just remove a lot of consistency between the game modes.
It allows for a lot. It's very good for sandbox-esque games, and we've had this question before by I think somebody else in the B2C Discord. So it's funny that it popped up again. But it's also funny with what Bray was saying. Yeah, script in this instance in our game is like cheating. So like using like macros and stuff. Anyway, no, we want to evaluate whether or not scripting for mappers makes sense, maybe simplifying entity IO, but in the end, behaviors like gameplay behaviors and things like that, we would love to formalize into actual entities that are reusable across every single game mode. It would simplify the mapping process significantly when that's the case. I know that it does, on the other hand, limit what you're able to do, but again, we aren't really a sandbox game. Like we will allow maybe in the future, like 2.0 and onwards, kind of more of a sandbox-esque experience of custom game mode kind of mixing in a way. But yeah, ideally, right, like we just have all of the things that you would want to script into the maps. Now, obviously, we're on Chaos, right? But Chaos script or vscript, which Chaos script is trying to replace, the Chaos script kind of code is mainly for P2C and maybe even other games that might use Chaos, because it's more of kind of a sandbox-esque, like, oh, letting mappers do literally whatever, versus like we want mappers to be able to do whatever, but like in a consistent way. So yeah, it's pretty much leaning towards no. We'll see in the future though how that changes with 2.0. We'll see. Hopefully that answers that. Any other input? All right, we'll move on. Thank you, Trico.
All right, now we have a two-questioner. Fotus asks, will workshop be supported? And Bred Sheeran, how do you plan to use the Steam Workshop? I think like our biggest one was custom huts. I don't know if we have anything else planned because maps are kind of submitted directly to us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not through Workshop, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So Steam Workshop's going to be more of a miscellaneous file kind of thing. We want to do the kind of open free-for-all workshop. So, okay, well, let me lay it out, right? Workshop has two modes. There's the free-for-all, literally everyone uploads everything and you can subscribe to anything at all, whatever you want, etc. Or the user submitted, everyone votes on it, and it officially becomes part of the game. The problem with Workshop becomes that you can update the file at literally any point. So if we were to do maps, it'd be annoying because if the map actually gets updated, I don't think you can download an older version. So like if an official map gets added, right, whatever. We could use maybe a momentum account, but then there's DMCA claims and stuff like that. Anyway, so
we're just using it as a CDN basically.
Yeah, which is kind of smart, but also sucks because I wish Workshop had more tools. The problem too is that the Workshop doesn't have the in-depth review tools and like process that we want to have. We could maybe wrap the website around Workshop in a really weird hacky way using the momentum account to like upload the map. But again, it's just much easier to centralize all of it in the website where we know we have the most control over it. On the flip side of Valve is not hosting all of our user-generated content anymore. So that's the deal with maps. We're not going to be using Workshop for maps, at least not. We're not currently planning on it. If we do in the future, then there must have been some drastic price change with how cloud and everything went. So we'll see. But I mean, we would rather ship maps with the game than use Workshop currently. If Workshop updates in the future to allow this kind of like official, like publisher-esque kind of like you can lock a file or something, like maybe, right? But I feel like that's a lot of work for Steam Workshop, and Valve are happy with how it's implemented as is, and we aren't. So it's the same thing with leaderboards too. Steam has leaderboards that can take an arbitrary binary blob as like an attachment. So like, wow, what do you know? Leaderboards that we would, but it's like you would have to submit through the site anyway. Otherwise it's like abusable, and Portal 2 runners probably know this firsthand. Yeah, so it sucks. But yeah, the Workshop being open more for maybe UI, custom HUDs, custom like random assets.
One thing that would be interesting is maybe cosmetics.
Yeah, cosmetics.
When we start thinking about like, I really love the idea of doing like a lot of community submitted cosmetics.
Exactly.
Kind of like our TF2 and stuff used to do. I think that could work really well for us and be a really cool way to like encourage people to. Because again, the cosmetic system's not going to be some like paid thing or whatever where like it's complicated like getting a cosmetic in the game. We can be pretty like, we're not going to add crap cosmetics, but like we can be have a lot of fun with the stuff we add, right?
Yeah.
And so doing Steam Workshop for that could be awesome. So
really good point. Yeah. Great point there. Will there be gambling? No.
Later in
Absolutely no gambling.
Gambling.
No. We might have a joke April Fool's update about gambling / loot crates or whatever. We'll see. But
there's
never.
To Phoebe's question, there'll never be a way to. The way our license works with Valve, we can't take any money for stuff in the game.
Yeah. We have no economy tab. That's actually a question by Ark, actually. So I'll
okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So no gambling, nothing like that. But yeah, absolutely cosmetics by the community. And that's I think also a question down the line too. Yeah. We have a lot. So anyway, hopefully that answers that. Thank you for the questions. We'll move on. We'll move on to the next.
Ofen asks, again, Ofen.
Yeah.
So often.
Will there be a voice chat? So often. Goddamn.
Steam supports that already, right?
Yep.
We would just have to hook into it.
Yep. So there's your answer. Yeah. We just gotta hook in.
When we're gonna do that? We don't know.
Ideally around the cosmetic update, where lobbies kind of become this more social, expressive. So
definitely. Yeah, I do feel like nowadays, like, Discord does do so much of that stuff for you already. Like, I don't really know why you'd use in-game chat for like people you're talking to all the time when you could use Discord. But
yeah,
I don't know. It's still definitely something that people are asking for. It would be nice to have. So
yeah. So we're going to be very cautious about it. Obviously, if we have roaming lobbies, we don't want you to be able to fucking hear anyone at any time. So we might, by default, make it something like, enabled by default for like friends lobbies, and then opt in for public lobbies or something like that. And then you can change that setting in settings to be like, I want to hear all of the slurs in my ears at once. Like you can do that through settings or something. We'll allow you. But by default, we're going to have it kind of be more of a, you and your friends can like enjoy voice chat pretty well, like easily. And like, if you want to go into the fray with public chat, you can.
That's where all the rap battles are going to happen.
Oh God.
Those are going to be great.
Oh God. Just the sub communities that'll form out of lobbies. Yeah. I can't wait for the rapping tournament to take place on top of the official Momentum tournament. But yes, absolutely, we'll be using Steam Voice. So all of your Steam Voice settings should be applying through there. We're not going to do some like custom integration thing. Steamworks has all of the API that we need for it. So thank you for this question, Ofen. And hopefully that's how you pronounce that, Ofen or Ofen. Let us know if we're butchering it. Sorry if we are. But we'll move on.
ZM asks, what are specific members of the team working on right now?
I'm playing chess some
I'm
other
working
mod.
on weapon selection HUD so far.
Working on this Q&A stream right now.
Yeah, the Q&A.
I personally am doing a lot of administration stuff, a lot of code review. There's a lot of PRs that we had to funnel through. We were over 20 and now we're down to like 12. So a lot of code, and just also looking at web dev stuff, looking at the price of everything, seeing how much pockets are going to burn, that kind of stuff mainly, but also helping finishing up Panorama. And then I'm going to be pivoting over. We have an Aart meeting tomorrow. I'm going to be seeing what's needed, like what would be prioritized for adding the player model as well as the C model system in TF2, where you have hands and the animations are in the hands, and then you add the world model of the weapon and bone merge onto the weapon there, and that's how you kind of do all of the different cosmetics. We're going to be probably most likely using that system, as opposed to CSGO's system, which is like just skins on the model. Anyway, so a lot of fun there with what I'm going to be doing, just kind of like these bigger things. But yeah, that's what I've been up to. What about UXB, man?
I've been doing schoolwork.
Nice. Real life is important. It's still important to bring that up. Real life comes first. With our team, it's very important that people focus on their lives and then work on the game second.
I've been meaning to do more on the learn section. I just keep instead opening hammer and just like making random personal like stage stuff that probably won't go towards learning.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've just been kind of reviewing what Ninja Cookie's been doing with the AHop thing and trying to get it.
So cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of very cool kind of techniques used to teach people. I really like what Ninja Cookie did with surf ramps, so I kind of want to try and replicate that a few times.
Yeah.
What about falls?
Yeah, I'm in here now.
Hi.
Although I have to leave soon for my booster shot.
Ooh, get vaccinated, by the way.
Yeah.
Stream it.
Stream it.
IRL stream, let's go.
I also had my cat, but I don't have a webcam on right now. No cat stream.
The cat's here in spirit. We got dogs and cats.
Yeah.
Until you fall asleep from the booster shot, and then you can shut the stream off.
Sleep stream. But yeah, I've been working on. Well, I recently finished the player model. We're trying to get that in game, as Doc said.
Yep.
So you can see that in Team Showcase. Pretty cool. If you are on my Twitter, you could see that I posted some work in progress of my next thing, which is a machine gun. So we're making a new machine gun. I'll be replacing the current SMG.
Yep.
Just as a general purpose weapon, but it's going along pretty damn well. I can't really stream it. I don't know how to show it to you on the stream right now, but
Could link a photo. Yeah, I mean it's I don't know.
I don't know.
Gonna be in the
I might
chat.
stream it on another day, like some work, just finishing up texturing and stuff. But
You could always
it's
make a
coming
video.
soon.
Yeah. You could always make a video. The
Yeah.
Team Showcase channel in our Discord, by the way.
Yeah.
We should really be using it more as a team. It is kind of just showing off what we're working on there. So really great question by ZM. We're trying. It's kind of hard to say the code side of things because it's like once it's in game, then you see like what we've been working on. So yeah, but art, UI, all of that stuff can always be shown off. And so yeah, cool.
Yeah.
I guess that
There's a lot of other like art people on the team as well who do some pretty great stuff. And it's just that's gonna be coming in altogether, like with the player model and stuff.
Yeah.
Relatively soon. So it's pretty exciting.
We'll
The
probably
game's
be
gonna look-
finishing up like 091
Yeah.
around the time or 092 potentially around the time we get a player model in. So there'll be like a lot
Yeah.
of cool stuff at
Yeah.
once, hopefully in the next sort of month or so, maybe.
all coming together.
coming together.
Yeah.
Love it.
Feeling like a game. I mean, it's always been a game, but it's feeling more like a cohesive. And so it's like, yeah, it's just gonna be awesome. 1.0 is gonna be fucking chock full of stuff. Oh man. Yeah.
And Bray and Ninja Cookie are working on a map. Which looks really nice. I don't know.
Yeah.
Using
That
all of
looks
the
amazing.
fantastic RJ, I believe.
And
Or
hit a wall
Sticky
with it,
Jump.
but-
Or we know, is it Rocket?
Jump, you're supposed to.
Yeah.
What's that?
Is it for Sticky Jump or
Rocket jump.
Rocket Jump? That's right.
Portals.
Or portal map.
Portals, light being cast through portals, though I think there's a bug with that right now.
We can do that.
Yeah. So hopefully that helps. Yeah, I mean, we should really be better about being more open about what we're working on. We have
stream more.
Yeah, that too.
Just me.
Yeah.
Streaming
Right.
mapping is just scary because everyone's going to tell you you're doing it wrong. Yeah, coding is a serious
Hammer crashes, you just fucking alt F4 everything. Yeah, fun times mapping. But yeah, we should really be streaming more, not to just make that Amazon Prime money, but also just like to show off what we've been doing. We can't stream any of the code, obviously. It's under NDA, so unfortunately. Otherwise, I would be fucking streaming all the time like I used to. Yeah, like dev streams are so much fun to do, but can't. And then, you know, if you do something else on stream, then it's like, fuck, I could be coding right now. Anyway, yeah, there's a lot of fun there. But ideally, we're going to be more open over time with what we're working on. Our roadmap is completely public, by the way. So we do actually have a loose kind of like code related what we're working on. If you want to see that, you can see our progress. You can see the 091 board with all of the like in progress cards that we're working on. Yeah, so I always link it to the playtesters after we push an update to like, hey, like, are these things fixed? It's a very, very informal way to do testing. But anyway, works out pretty well. But all right, thank you, ZM, for this question. We'll go
I
ahead.
didn't say what I was doing.
Oh, what? I thought you said...
I've been doing the run page.
I thought you said you were playing chess. No. Gotcha.
Been graphing.
I've been making a graph for the end of run thing. It's fucking sick. It's going to be really cool. We're going to get it in pretty soon.
Oh, yeah.
Studying to become a graphing calculator.
It's honestly been so fun doing a bunch of like maths and stuff. I've just never, like a lot of sort of like maths I did like A level and whatever, like pre-uni, whatever, that I've just not touched since, and like doing some like integration and stuff when I'm like doing graphing and whatnot. It's been so much fun. And yeah, it will be in game soon.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just looks spectacular. I cannot wait to get you guys the end of run screen. It's going to be awesome. It is arguably up there with some of the most important UI with the map selector and leaderboard, because it's probably going to be the most screenshotted piece of UI. We might even want to put a share button or something, or screenshot button or something, you know, like we might want to do that for the players just to make it easier to share. But yeah, it's, if you think about it, right, whenever you get a run, so we have to make sure it looks good.
As soon as we started working on it this month, like I just like realizing just like how important the page is, and then I went way too far with it. I've made like loads of, like I made a whole extra component that I think it's worth it though.
What if you had like the option to generate like your name and your time atop like the map like image, and it's all pretty. Just generate that. To share with people.
Yeah,
honestly, right? And then it links to the run on the website. You could do something like that.
Yeah, look at what,
like a little embed for the forums.
Yeah, you can use it as your forum signature.
Exactly.
That would be amazing. Everyone would be so hyped.
Check out my rank 253 run on Surf Utopia, guys.
Yeah.
But seriously, it would actually be pretty cool to be able to have that kind of embedding or hot linking to the runs, getting people towards the site in the game. Because the other thing too is on the site we can have in the future a little play button that opens up the game and plays that replay automatically, like from the site. So if people go to it and they're like, wow, what does this mean? They can hit the play button and get Momentum Mod and try it out. Just ways to integrate, you know. Anyway, very fun UI to implement. looking forward to seeing everybody's reaction to it. Hopefully it'll be, a nice piece of UI for people looking to improve as well, because it shows individual diffs. If you haven't seen it, it shows a live split-esque graph that shows your speed gain and your speed loss, or not speed, time gain and time loss. Sorry, my phone. Anyway, the most important thing is that you see where you did poorly or better, right? Getting that information at a glance, basically. So you can see if it was like a shit run and then boom, PB, like right at the end or something like that. Like just stuff like that,
It's just stuff I love from Live Split.
Yeah.
I think Live Split is just such a good little program.
Absolutely.
The fact that we're like a free game and like very much like, if we were like a paid game, I'd probably feel bad for how similar it is to Live Split almost. But I think like, I don't know, everything, I've pretty like comfortably just pinched all the stuff I like from that, because it's just the best little program ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the plugins for it for like auto splitters and stuff like that for like source games and well, I mean there's so many games that have them now. But amazing program. Obviously we don't want to require people to download it to play our game, so like we can't do that level of integration of like we want to have in-game timer stuff, but it's a very good source of inspiration for how we should make things look. All right, we'll move on. Did I miss anybody else? We got a sub. Thank you, Dank Meme, for the sub, for the Prime sub. Appreciate you. We'll go ahead and move on. Thank you, ZM, for this question.
Next question by Ark. When playing a map off mode or with custom settings, will there always be unranked leaderboards, or will only a subset of possibilities have them? How will it be determined?
Gotcha. This one's a bit rough because this is kind of tying in with bonus. Kind of tying in with bonus. So there will be obviously a lot of combinations that you can do with the run tags, or run flags, whatever we call them. The idea is to have the most popular things, like different tick rates, very popular different tick rates, like for surf, to have their own leaderboards, for sure. When it comes to things like movement modifiers, like W only, or not movement modifier, but like movement restrictions or things like that, we want to make sure that we're representing a lot of the common modes there. There's some that don't mix, right? You can't do backwards in W only. I don't think. So things like that, right? Like there's things that won't mix. So there will be a subset of that. But ideally, right, you should be able to mix as many as you want. It will never be really ranked. I think it's always going to be unranked when it comes to that, but just, cosmetic XP for the different difficulty related things that you're doing, right? As well as having your own leaderboard to kind of show ranks based on that. So ideally there will be, because like keep in mind, like the leaderboard when it comes to this is actually just grouped times, like grouped entries, right? So if you submit an entry with a specific key of like, on this map, on this tick rate, like all of this stuff, it creates a unique key, and so like you just filter by that key. So by default, right, the default settings are the default key, and that's what all of the runs are currently submitting under, which is main track, the tick rate of that mode, etc. So like we would just have to abstract out that kind of key field, right, to allow you to kind of filter based on, or like add more to the key based on like what you want to filter by. So like we don't create like database tables or something for each like map or whatever. It would just be submitting it to the same map but under that specific kind of combination. So realistically, every single possible combination should be able to work and grant cosmetic XP and stuff. So yeah, if there are weird combinations, we could always prevent it. Like we could look into preventing specific combinations that are like bizarre. But other than that, there's no real reason to limit, because it's just letting people play and having fun with the game. So yeah. And then the comment about off mode, this is referring to jump maps, rocket jump and sticky jump maps, because in like those servers, there's actually 2 leaderboards for every map, because demos can do every rocket jump map, and then there are some demo specific maps that soldiers can do, right? So in those cases, right, those will actually be a map by map basis. Obviously, right, sticky jump will be able to play any rocket jump map, so like we could have that unofficial leaderboard for every rocket jump map, but when it comes to like specific SJ maps, obviously we don't want to like, I mean, we could just have it be enabled, and then if it's impossible, you just don't have any runs submitted for it. I mean, that could just kind of solve itself in a way. We don't have to do anything on our end, but yeah.
Yeah, that's probably the best.
Yeah.
That's...
That way, if there is a surprise, crazy ass like route that you could do, yeah, tier 0, like impossible, like so, like if there are like impossible routes that you could end up doing, you know, you get like people submitting the runs, and it's like a breakthrough on like how people solved it or something. So, sorry for cutting you off there, False.
That's okay. Yeah, essentially every rocket jump map, surprisingly, is like possible with sticky jump. I think there may be like single digit exceptions.
Yeah.
But like they're very, very few.
Yeah.
It's just sticky jump's so powerful. Play it.
Yeah.
No.
The game said it was the best mode for me, so I guess it's the truth. All right. Any other input for this? Any other input for this question? All right. Thank you, Ark. We'll move on to the next question.
Redinator 2000, that's a cool name, asks, why are surf and tricksurf considered separate categories?
That's a good question.
It's a very good question.
They need a different system to handle the way they're designed.
Yes. So inherently, the trick system that is inside of tricksurf is actually a completely different way to play the game, where it's not a set defined track. It is a trick that you're going through. So like the nugget of gameplay of like, oh, you have triggers you got to hit to get to the end. That's roughly the same, but there's also different settings as well. Tricksurf uses higher air accelerate and tick rate. I think it's 100 tick by default. There's a lot of like, there's no like, because there's only, because normal surf only has that set track. There's only, so much that you can do versus tricksurf that could constantly expand with the number of tricks. So like there's more content technically in one map compared to surf. And then the idea that it's more focusing on completion rather than speedrunning in a way. Speed, like the time it takes, like there will be leaderboards, but actually a lot of people care more about your average speed that you took to do a trick. Like what was your like max speed or average speed, I think. So that kind of like system there kind of just helps separate it. Now, we have talked about in the past that modes could have submodes, and the idea would be that maybe if we go that route, surf would have skill surf and trick surf as the 2 submodes. So like they wouldn't be different categorical, like they're the same gameplay, you're still surfing in both, but like it's not the same game mode, if that makes sense. Like they're different modes of the same game type. Something like that. I don't know what wording we'll use to kind of categorize it, but and then the other idea there is because of the trick system being abstract enough, pulled out, and just kind of like not really ingrained into like just surf, we can then apply it to the other modes. So you can have trick jump, right? And trick AHop, everything like that. So trick could be a subcategory of the overall mode, or the overall gameplay, right, experience. And that's kind of that might be the route that we take. And that's why right now they're completely separate modes, like separate categories, everything. But then eventually we might merge the 2. Tricksurf in our, like the little Tricksurf category in our Discord might just disappear, and then the channels go under surf or something like that. But it is planned to be kind of designated as like surf, right? Eventually.
If you've not played it, tricksurf is fucking awesome. It's
Yeah.
so fun.
Yeah.
Like it's such a different approach to surf. It's like all the same skills, but like what you're trying to accomplish like feels very different.
Yeah.
And it's like really fun. Like if you want to just piss around for a bit, like if you're tired and just want to play about, or especially like in multiplayer, I think tricksurf is really fun. Just like with a bunch of people all on like Japan or Great River or whatever.
Just doing different
Just
tricks.
messing around on there, doing
Yeah.
tricks is just really like it's just a really like relaxing, chilled out way to play surf.
Yeah.
I think it's super underrated. And will do really well on momentum. So
Yeah. It's kind of having a bit of a resurgence. I think there's some servers coming back with it, but yeah, trick.surf. Yeah, I think
which is pretty good. It's just
Yeah.
trying out for some fancy UI.
Yeah, but it's yeah. So there's definitely hype around it, and we want to implement it, and it will actually be in place before 1.0. It is considered to be a pre 1.0, but the other trick modes will come later, I think, after 1.0.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why. Hopefully that answers that. Thank you, Red Nader. Oh, sorry.
Asking for the momentum mod background to be added as a tricksurf map. I don't know if that was
flat.
I don't know if that was ever designed to be actually surfed.
We could compile it. We do have the VM.
We do have the
but
we
like,
do have the original.
can you even make it between ramps? Like I don't even know if it was tested at all.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
not.
think you can play it.
Just
Yeah.
get WHop. Just get a world hop like boost or something. Just fucking fly everywhere.
It was made in Hammer, but it was made in Hammer because Traz was too lazy to learn Blender. Like it's never actually be compiled into
Optimized workflow, maybe.
Making a map that does look like the background though would be like not too hard.
Yes.
A lot of it's the shading on the ramps.
It's the shading.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can do that.
And it's a good point that it was brought up because it might actually be the theming of something like our learn sections. Like I would love to have our tutorial-esque like learn sections in this style because it's very fresh, very
shadows well.
Yeah. So we'll see. You might actually be seeing some of this kind of style map, and then obviously because it ships with the game, any mapper could use it. So yeah. Cool. Was there any other input? All right, we'll go ahead and move on.
All right, next question by Plar. Hi, Plar. Will
Hi, Plar.
momentum come out in 2022?
No.
Dare I say likely?
Yeah.
I don't have slides for you for this question. Yeah, I mean, who knows? The main question is just after we get Panorama in place and these two big refactors that we have for zoning and replay, which have already been started. Replay refactor has at least. I'm going to be jumping over to zoning soon after 091 comes out. It is just a question of kind of the dev ability of swarming because there's a lot of disconnected mini features that will start to come together after like 011. So from my slides that I had in the previous question of will momentum come out in 2021, yeah, I mean, like we have Lumia NDA'd, right? Like we can get defrag in now. Like there's things like that are just, it's just all of these like miscellaneous things coming together. And we have our roadmap, like we have pretty lasered focus and we're making progress every single day. So I'm pretty confident. Like it's already a month in and we're almost done completely with Panorama porting, which is huge.
Pano's done, like, it's so hard like comparing everything else in comparison to the Panorama work because Panorama's just been so much like tedious grunt work.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. If Zen comes back, guaranteed.
Oh yeah, Zen, one of our licensed devs, got access, got NDA'd, and then like a month later had to go and do mandatory military service for a year or two. No, yeah, I think a year and a half maybe. I forget how exactly long, but they're coming back. So we got another dev coming back, and that's going to be the full momentum force going ham on what is left for 1.0. So
I miss Zen.
Maybe, yeah. Zen has been deeply missed, so hopefully they'll return and be able to catch up and see where we're at. they've been kind of catching up over time. They have a little bit of time to catch up every now and then, but it'll be awesome. It'll be awesome to be full-fledged momentum team, just swinging away at the cards and bugs and everything.
Also, web stuff has been really good lately, and once we get
Yes.
the Nest.js rewrite finished,
Yes.
I think we'll be in a much clearer spot with that, where anything like back-end stuff being slow for the past year or so, like that's finally actually almost finished. We're getting like consistent work done every week, especially thanks to Alex.
Yep.
Getting through that and getting through Panorama is going to be amazing. I cannot wait for that.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff after Panorama is a lot less tinkering and going back and forth with UI people, because it's all kind of internal things like zones and replays that don't need that.
Yeah.
So it should hopefully go a bit quicker.
Yeah.
Also, all of this is stuff that we've been wanting to do for so long now, because it's been scheduled for ages. So I'm pretty sure Got is like pretty much like every line of code already figured out in his brain. You just yet to write them.
Yeah, I like tackling the bigger things. Architecture is kind of my go-to. Code review, it's a lot of pipeline stuff for me. But like, I'm certainly looking forward to architecting the new formats or helping architect. I mean, it's not going to be just me. So yeah.
Well, one last thing I wanted to just mention is also one of the fundamental things we have to get done for release, which we've really made a lot of progress with this month, is server hosting, and being able to send a shitload of files to people. Just it's logistically it's a really big task, and the work Gok's been doing, this mostly Gok over the past month, has been amazing in that regard, because we're now on S3 buckets with hosting that is affordable and should continue to be affordable. Like, even if the game like massively balloons up and had a massive player base, the system we've got set up can handle that.
I hope so. I mean, but I'm pretty confident in it. Yeah.
Well, as long as R2 should be out by then. Anyway,
we'll see.
But it seems, it like that's like one of the massive like logistical challenges. Like actually making this game work is a very good way to actually being done and working now. And if you go play like Surf Utopia and stuff, and you download that map, that's coming through Backblaze and Cloudflare.
Yep.
Which is
big shout outs to Backblaze,
Yeah. So it's so good.
Yeah. And there's even more work to be done with like replays. Currently we only store PBs, but we don't delete the old PB when you beat your PB. So right now there's like 8 gigabytes of like replays. And so it's like a lot of those are just like somebody beating a map in like 10 hours or whatever, and then getting like a 2-minute time. And it's like we still have the 10-hour replay that we don't need. So there's things like that need to be optimized. Maps are also going to shrink in size if we can figure out asynchronous cube map generation, as well as getting rid of the packed assets that are packed inside of games. Like Surf Utopia is tiny. It's like 3 megabytes for the whole map, and there's like no packed textures because that's all TF2 stuff. So
async cube maps would be amazing.
Yeah. So
or we just don't have
a lot of work to do still, but exciting nonetheless. And and then I mean there's the scale of like the backend API and like how we want to do that. But a lot of stuff for me to figure out.
Has actually been like significant concrete changes we've got.
Yeah. Pricing is going to probably be pretty static for the most part for us, so it's good. It's good for now. We'll see if we can also like reach out to like any platforms and be like, hey, like we're a free to play game, can we like promote your like services in exchange for you to help host or something. When we mention server hosting, by the way, we mean like OVH VPS instances and stuff like that. That's the main thing, is like we don't have like dedicated like game servers or anything that we need hosting. We need like straight up like I need full like Linux access to set everything up. We're trying to Dockerize everything. Anyway, this is a lot of web stuff, not part of this question, but we got a lot of progress done in kind of containing our backend as well as all of the services that we're going to need. And that's just like, that's the web side of things. And then there's the game side that's going full force into 091, 092, maybe an 093 will be in there, 010. the O10X updates, and then O11, O11X updates, O12, O13, and then big 1.0. That's all we have planned till 1.0. So ideally, we'll be able to do it. Again, you'll know firsthand over time through Q&A streams and whatnot whether or not we're falling behind. You guys deserve answers. If we are falling behind, I know we're not, we don't really owe you anything because we're working in our free time, but we do, I believe, at least in transparency, and you guys being able to understand what's happening, and maybe that could lead to people joining and helping if we're falling behind on stuff like web. Please help. If you have any TypeScript, Nest.js experience, we're looking for those. If you have any Angular front end experience, we're looking for those. The website is currently 2 people, and sometimes others that join in, but like mainly to just me and Alex. So yeah. Anyway. Yeah. So we'll see how things shift around, but yes, ideally 2022. It's kept ominous for now until around a month out. But keep in mind that we will be opening the playtest build to everyone that signed up around that time. So there's like a mini 1.0 release-ish of that. But like, obviously it's still a playtest. Times are going to wipe. It's still broken. It's not finished. So like the 1.0 build is going to be hyped to fuck. And you guys will absolutely know when we're about to... did I say Next.js? Yes. No, just kidding. Not Next. Sorry, I hate the fucking web community for doing this shit to us. It's Nest with an ST. Next is the React server-side rendering framework, I think, right? Fuck, like there's so many overlap, and it's like JavaScript sucks. But here's like a billion JavaScript libraries that you can. It's like fucking web dev, dude. Rewrite everything in Rust. I'm done. No, I'm just kidding.
Did you say REST.js?
REST.js? Did I say vanilla.js? Rust.js using WebAssembly. We're going to just have like 5... Anyway.
Compiles to JavaScript.
You can. And in fact, that's how Cloudflare does their fucking workers. You can do it. Web. It's fun. I am much more of a C++ kind of client guy. Yeah. But I mean, I'm fascinated by web. I think there's exciting tech that happens like every couple of months in it. But it's so much pain to keep up with unless it's your job. Like by the time I'm going back to the site, I don't even know if Nest.js will be the fucking thing we want to use. Anyway, we'll move on. Thank you, Plar.
We've still got like 10 questions.
Exactly. So, well, though we are an hour and a half, so we're actually good on time. We're making good on time.
We have 13 questions.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not too bad.
That's not too bad. And plus, we got some in. We've been taking notes on them.
Yep.
In our Discord as well. We can revisit some. So. Make sure to get them in the Discord, though. Please join our Discord and ask them there. It helps us prepare so we can rant about web dev for 20 minutes. Anyway, let's move on. Thank you, Plar, for that question. Sorry you didn't get the giant explainer. I do have a couple slides for explainer, though. Speaking of O10, earlier in the slides.
Is there a current ETA for O10.0?
No. There's no ETA for anything. I've learned my mistakes. I don't think giving dates is my strong suit, but also just for a project of this scope and scale. There's no ETA, but ideally, right, 091, we're wrapping up Panorama. 092 is a bunch of fixes that can be swarmed. In fact, 092 might not have a lot of my dev work in it. I'm going to be working on like zones and stuff, prepping us for 010.0. So, I don't know. I'd hope in the next couple of months, I'd hope that month or two from now, but don't hold me to that, please. There's nothing I can really guarantee when it comes to this. I'll have an ETA for when we're like a couple cards away from it. When we're on 010.0's board and, wrapping it up. But other than that, couple months-ish. So thank you, ZM. I mean, I don't know. Do you guys have any foresight into the ETA more than I do?
I think we could probably get it out by tomorrow.
Yeah. Honestly, you know what? I'm motivated now. Let's fucking pump it out. Let's just
All right, stream's over. Let's go back to work.
let's go back to
Within,
work.
at least within 3 years.
Very true. Let's set our was it like under promise over deliver sort of thing. Yeah. Okay. So thank you, Zium. We'll move on to the next.
Next question by Cawu. With the Oteno push for zoning more maps, what quality control, if any, will you have to guarantee the map selector has? I read that weird.
Yeah, sorry, it was yeah.
Indecently playable maps.
Let me ban Cawu. No, I'm just kidding. No, yeah. So the quality control when it comes to what we want to have on our map selector is we're going to probably look more towards those like the 1.0 like okay, sorry. The Oteno zoning push will be literally every map. Every map that we want to ever support. There are maps that are kind of or like not really wanted that will be zoned, and that'll be kind of determined at a later date. But like a lot of the maps that people are used to from servers and stuff will ideally be zoned. And then ideally, right, for 1.0 with our main map push that we'll have for the release of the game is fan favorites, as many as we can kind of like, well, okay, hold on. Actually, the main priority is momentum original maps. So maps that have been made for momentum are absolutely going to be in 1.0. We want to prioritize showing off what our game can do. But then past that, right, we start to pad with fan favorites. So maps that you all know and love, ranging from all types of skill tier, right, level. So tier 1s for all the noobs up to tier 10, right, because we're going to be, if we have any tier 10 maps. Yeah, so ideally something like that. Sorry if you hear some piano. Anyway, yeah, there's definitely a lot of maps that we plan to support. But when it comes to like the actual quality of them, we're going to be doing our map review process for even just ported maps as well. Obviously, we won't be able to work with the original mapper 90% of the time because most of them have been made in 2002 and the mapper's gone. But you know, we'll be trying our best to like we want to honor the original mapper's intention. Yeah. And sorry, the piano's really throwing me off. We want to have quality maps and fan favorite maps kind of first and foremost, and just slowly over time be adding more and more maps that are maybe less of the quality standard that like some of these contest maps and stuff that you see nowadays have. We'd also like to have mapping competitions as well, like mapping contests and stuff. That would be really cool. And so hopefully that'll bring a lot of high quality maps into the map pool and giving mappers some recognition and money if we do prize pool and stuff like that. So yeah. Cool. Yeah. Was there any other input? While I angrily text my sister and tell her to stop fucking playing.
Nice. Relaxing. Tell her to play louder.
I mean, honestly, yeah, it is homemade music, so. Homemade music. Let's go. Anyway. Anyway, home played music. So yeah. Was there any other input for this? I mean, when it comes to quality control, I'm sure we'll have a consensus on kind of what maps we want to add, taking into mind the community as well.
I think we went into more depth in this in one of the other
yeah,
streams,
we did. We did
I can't
a long
remember.
one.
Yeah,
there's a big list of all the questions now. So
absolutely, yeah.
Someone can link that.
Yeah. So,
anyways, on to the next question. Murgle asked if your employer ever considered working on Momentum Mod as a conflict of interest and threatened termination unless you stop working on it. What would you do? Well, for me, anyways, kind of unemployed gang, but you know. Gotta get a job.
The government comes in. Hey, working on this game. Conflict of interest of your unemployment. Stop.
Yeah, I was working
termination if you. No.
I had to leave my job at the local zoo.
Yeah.
Conflict of
interest. God damn it. We don't pay you enough to be making textures and UI.
I don't see it being a conflict of interest outside of if someone got like a game development job. Or
even
maybe
then,
like,
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I because even then stuff you're doing is not really going to transfer to source games.
Yeah,
and it's still
unless
all
you're
in your free
developing
time.
a source game.
Yeah,
In which case
or unless you have like,
which you're not.
Unless you're running it
You're
like on the company machine, like while you're supposed to be working, maybe then they would get mad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope that this wasn't like a question asking for advice. Like if it's actually happening. So I guess giving my input on this, with my job at TechSmith, I actually, while I was being hired, there was a form that I had to fill out of anything that I had quote unquote invented or had been working on before joining the company as in terms of intellectual property. So, and it's because of if you go into software and work on something else, I mean, obviously I don't work on Momentum while I'm working, but if you know, like the employer could kind of get like unsure of whether or not like, oh, like technically this could be ours because you worked or looked at it or whatever on our on our services. Anyway, the main thing there being that wait, why am I getting Steam notification? What the fuck? Okay, anyway, sorry. I don't even remember having those on. Anyway, if like I didn't fill that out and didn't say Momentum, technically like TechSmith could say that they own Momentum because like whatever.
Really?
So yeah, so like there is real concern there of like you know, like the, I guess, intellectual property side of things. So I could see that angle. It's not threatening termination. It's more of just like an IP rights sort of thing of like, I own it, right? Like I owned it before going into this job.
It's only something that concerns you. No one else on the team would have to worry about it.
Exactly.
And I also get hired there.
Yeah. And it's they just hired the entire team. Anyway, I'm sure conflict of interest comes from maybe web dev side of things. The main thing though with that is that typically if you just don't do any like work for Momentum at work, you're okay. Like as long as you can always prove that you've worked on Momentum stuff outside of work. Now, obviously, if you're working on Momentum at work, yeah, that's a conflict of interest. They want you doing dev work for what you're doing there. I know I'm focusing on the dev side of things because that's the more realistic case here. I don't see, unless you are explicitly going into a game dev studio being like, oh yeah, I'm going to work on this other game while I'm in this one game studio, right? Like that could be the actual like conflict of interest of like, yeah, non-compete clause, right, of your contract or work agreement. So yeah, if they ever threaten termination, unless you stop working on it, that's just weird. That's controlling your life further past the hours that they allot. This is going to get really anti-work right now. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to go down that route. But employers should not give a shit what you do in your free time. And if they do, you should probably not give a shit about that employer. You should probably look for other jobs if they're like micromanaging your free time. That just sounds extremely toxic. It's it's like the managers and stuff that text you on weekends being like, oh, you're around, we work from home now. I am very lucky with my company with that thing that I filled out that said I was working on it, but also just my manager's a game dev as well and works on Unity games like in his free time. Like so it's like it's very nice for me, but I could completely understand where it's like if there's corpo jobs and it's like a 9-to-5 desk job of like, yeah, you're making this Internet Explorer compatible website. We don't want you working on literally anything else. I could see it being a problem there. What I would do, I mean, honestly, it depends on like the game. And I hinted at this before, the game always comes second when it comes to real life stuff. That includes work and school. So for me, yeah, I mean, I would work on my job, but I mean, I would hope to have some free time to be able to do some stuff for the game. And if not, then maybe start reconsidering things like that, like how I feel about my job versus this game, like things like that. But look, I'm extremely lucky to be in the position that I am with my job, working from home, then, you know, getting up, coming over here and working on Momentum until 4 a.m. or something. So I'm extremely lucky with my position. And in the culture of my company to not have this kind of conflict come up. But I would honestly, yeah, if I did have that situation, I would really reconsider, like, is my job valuing my time more than this team does? Things like that. I mean, obviously I would probably be looking for another job if it was like micromanaged, like, oh, you're going to be terminated if we find out that you've been committing code to this other repository. Because that's the other thing too, right? You could use the same GitHub account for your work versus your personal, and then personal is... So anyway, yeah, it's a tough question, but it's pretty valid. And I would say that you should really evaluate what's most important to you. If you like your job in your company and they're just genuinely worried about you maybe not feeling as motivated for working on the job versus working on the game. I mean, the stance of the team has always been work on yourself, right? Your life is more important than this game. This game can always be worked on in free time and pushed back because that's how I want to run this studio, right? That's how I want to do this, is like, this is a passion project, and the moment it becomes more than that, it's not going to be very passionate. Well, I mean, the other thing too is, like, if there was a way that we could self-fund, like, having an actual studio, maybe it would be different, right? Like, if this could be our job, I'm sure we would actually have a ton of fun, like actually doing game dev as a job for this game. But I mean, that it's a high risk situation for that. It requires a lot of money that I don't want to even start to ask for. So, and we're not even selling the game in the end, right? So it's like we'd have to change our monetization strategy altogether and restrike a new deal with Valve about how we can pay for the game versus cuts and stuff. I mean, we don't have the Havoc fee anymore, but there's still, yeah, I mean, there's still probably other license costs and stuff. So, yeah. Hopefully that helps answer it. I hope that wasn't a situation you had to deal with, right? I hope that, you know, you're able to evaluate what's the most important in your life when it comes to working on the game versus your job and your real life stuff. Because it's always been real life stuff is more important. And that's why the game sometimes seems like it's taking forever. It's because, yeah, not everybody has the free time, or I guess in this case, the the ability to work on it without being fucking fired for some reason. But yeah, was there any other input? Anybody have any opinions about this as well?
All
right.
At least we're not in Zen's predicament.
True that. Yeah. I mean, there's literally the case of, like, Zen could not work on it at all because he doesn't have a computer. Like, there's that case where it's like, yeah, like, obviously he'd be terminated if he, like, skipped military service to work on the game. So, like, yeah, and then, I mean, it's understandable. You got to work on real life stuff.
I think that's ground.
I don't know if it would be
like conscientious objection.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't want him to defect from the military service.
Go to prison
for momentum. It's the new owning the libs. Anyway, yeah. So hopefully that helps in some capacity answer that. Just depends on the situation. You gotta think about what you want, because it's all about you. But yeah. Game always comes second. We'll go ahead and move on. Thank you, Murgle, for this intriguing.
Since it's Vadeblade's birthday, and they're asking if their questions can get answered.
Oh,
could we do that one quick?
Is that next? Where?
It's on 31.
Okay, yeah, let's do it. Yeah, let's answer it. Yep.
All right. Yeah, Vadeblade asks, is it possible to add weekly, monthly, etc. Leaderboards that reset periodically so that interest in the game doesn't become dull over time, and so times are more fun to grind for?
Yes, absolutely.
You can always filter the leaderboard too,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Something that is like an actual thing that encourages people to like swarm a map.
Yep. So we're gonna have seasons. We would love to have a seasonal leaderboard cycle, maybe every 3 months or something. We rotate maps that have this layer on top of the game, right? It's like ranking seasons and like Apex and stuff, right? So we have a map pool. We select maps. We could determine what kind of maps we want in there based on stats that we collect over time. And we would just have, ideally, resettable leaderboards that shift, like it's season 1 and then season 2. Like those leaderboards are kind of just this... It also ties in, I think this was also mentioned before, it definitely was before in another Q&A stream, but focusing more on the, what is it? The recurring gameplay segment, right? Of like, how do you keep somebody playing the game in a non-gotcha, non-addictive way of like coming back every so often to do things. So like a season with like season cosmetics, like things like that, like having just kind of these like event-based things that last 3 months or a month or 2. Like we could do things like that where we introduce because the other thing too is not everybody could play all the time. So like we need to reward those people playing all the time, but also the people that are only able to check it out on weekends or like every other weekend or something, or in Zen's case every year and a half. So like things like that where it's like we have these kind of systems that you don't feel like you missed out on a ton of stuff, like you missed season 1 so you don't get a season 1 rank and season 1 cosmetic, but like there's still season 2 or whatever to look forward to. So like things like that where it's just cycling through, providing a new sense of competition. And the nice thing about this too is these times submitted could then fall back also onto the main leaderboard, right? So like we would only show, if it's a seasonal map, we would show the seasonal leaderboard first, but then like you could hit a toggle button or something and see the actual main leaderboard where all of these runs that you're doing would also submit to. So like if you're getting PBs, we permanently save that PB. It's not like, oh, season 1's done, PB's gone, rip. But it would be like, oh, if you got like a really good PB, it'd be also globally saved. So like there's still that competition, and there's still that, but it's a layer on top of the leaderboards each every couple of months, right? So absolutely, we would
Make sure
we would
to
love
buy
to
our
do
battle pass.
Yes, we'll have a battle pass. No, God, fucking video game monetization, dude. Games as a service is a fucking mistake. Anyway, even though we're literally making a game as like maps that we continually add, but anyway, yeah. So, any other input? Cool. Hopefully that answers that. Happy birthday, Vadeblade. Thanks for asking. We'll, I guess, jump back. To Aart.
All right, Aart asks, now that it's been a couple of months, how has the change to closed source been? Does it feel different working on Momentum Mod now? So
a couple of months,
a little longer than a couple of months.
A couple of year and a half.
It's been 13 months now.
Yeah, but no, it might have been tongue in cheek too.
It's amazing working on Momentum now. It feels like so professional. Like I'm kind of sad that not a lot of people can see kind of the internal workings of like Chaos Engine stuff, but it's really surprisingly well done. Got like geniuses like Gawk, Whitey, and SL. It's great. Yeah,
and for me, it's just been we've learned from open source and applied it to this closed source, right? We have PRs that require 3 reviews. We have code quality checks now as well. We just recently added that, so we check how many code warnings we get, and we can tell if like things that we've added have decreased the quality of code. We don't have any tests yet. We're gonna actually start working towards getting a test bed suite as well. There's a lot of really nice stuff that we're doing, and it's collaborative. It's hella collaborative with P2C devs. So yeah, it's not really, I mean, it just feels a lot better. I mean, the other thing with open source too is just like there's not really an expectation of anything, like people just doing whatever they want when it comes to like outside, right, code contribution. So right, with it being closed source, we've been just super laser focused on like we know what everybody's up to, and we know how long roughly things are going to take. We can bounce ideas off of each other. We can complain about the code. We have a dedicated channel called WTF-Valve that we have a lot of fun, looking at code together with in that channel, just venting and a lot of that. So that's not the only thing we have, but like that's just an example. So like we have a lot of fun.
WTF chaos, so. True,
of all the code that we've done, and it's like, what the fuck were we thinking? So yeah, a lot of fun, a lot of fun with the code base now. But it's like we're getting better and better at refactoring things because now we've like shifted from only server, client, game UI sort of stuff to the entire engine, while also 2 games, right? P2C and Momentum. So it's like it's a lot of architecture to take in that I've been enjoying, but like being able to split it apart into like how we can best separate out code. We've refactored kind of how systems work to make it better for the independent game, so we don't have a bunch of like spaghetti, like, oh, if Momentum do this, if P2C do this instead. Like we have it pulled out to just be abstract, and it's like this function that calls into P2C's game code, compiles it, and then our game code compiles it separately, and it's like so much better, like cleanliness, and it just makes us have cleaner code overall too. We got a lot of work to do. We still want automatic crash reporting through Sentry. We would love to set that up. We might just go with, I might reevaluate how much it costs to use the cloud version of that, because at this point I don't know when we'll ever have it up and running, but we'll reevaluate kind of what we want for that. But automatic crash reporting, so if the game ever crashes, it automatically uploads a crash dump to us. Steam doesn't have a really fleshed out, it's like Win32 only. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, come on. Like, at least support Linux a bit. Like, anyway, so yeah, things like that, getting crash reports automatically submitted so we can then go into the line of code where it last ran, things like that, debugging crashes automatically. Yeah, like there's a lot of work to be done. The test bed that I was talking about, having automatic in-game tests to determine if we have any regressions made in any refactors that we do. Things like that. We look at visual tests as well, taking screenshots and comparing against a known good. There's a bunch of stuff that we could do there that further expand kind of what we could do to test things, and it's been a lot of fun. Continuous integration for a full engine is a lot of fun. I've tweeted about it on my personal Twitter. We got the compile time for the entire engine down from 24 minutes to fucking 4 minutes. It's insane. Like, we've shaved off so much time by switching over to claying and improving kind of how the project structure, using more precompiled headers, things like that you can't do with just SDK code. But then again, the SDK code was tiny, right? It was 4 projects or something, right? So yeah, having access to game tools, being able to completely fix problems that people report, as opposed to being like, well, maybe if we get engine access, we now have it, like we can do it. It's so nice. It's like we've closed, I think, pretty much every original needs engine card, because we've been able to really quickly go in and fix it now. So it's wonderful. I guess in terms of, yeah, and we got V-physics. Like, we even got V-physics. Like, holy shit.
That's really cool to have.
Insane. It's archaic German V-physics code.
Like proper, I guess, is the only thing we don't have.
No, proper's open source. There's an
I've
open
got
repo.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
proper.
gotta get
That's
proper
not.
working in there.
Yeah.
That's not even a Valve thing. That's just someone made that.
Yeah, Faust
Okay.
actually. Yeah. But anyway,
I've got a interesting perspective on this question, I guess.
yeah.
In that I probably do the stuff that's closest to game dev at the moment that's not aren't licensed. So I'm not a C++ programmer. I know relatively little C++ and don't enjoy that language and don't really want to learn it. And so, I sort of felt like a bit apprehensive at first going closed source and knowing that I wouldn't be able to see the C++ code that, I would, I used to sort of read some of the pull requests and stuff and whatnot in the game repo and whatnot. In reality, though, what it's meant is just there's always so many other things to do on a project like this, and I've found that as soon as I started looking into panorama stuff, I realized that there was a ton of stuff I could help out with there. And what's nice is it then does just mean it's a bit frustrating when I'm looking at some function and it takes 3 arguments and I don't know what the 3 arguments are or do in some JS API in Panorama and have to ask someone with Engine to find it for me. But generally actually having to work with other people that do have Engine and work closely with them is actually really fun. So me and Gok are going to be doing integration of how to run stuff soon.
Yeah.
Where I probably could have done some of that into C++, but I would have taken ages with it. Yeah, and arg2 just doesn't exist there. So I don't know. For me, it's been quite a sort of fun opportunity to sort of force myself to work with other people a bit more and be a bit more collaborative. And I don't know, it's not really limited in the amount of stuff I've been able to do on the projects because there's always other valuable things to be done to do besides C++. So yeah.
Yeah, it's fun because it's that I guess I was gonna mention that there are cons now. Is we can't get any outside help. We have to license everybody that, and even then that's now extremely picky because it's we have to convince Valve that you're trustworthy enough to get an NDA to look at the code and not leak it. So that kind of stuff, right? It's just a whole can of worms. And then no streaming of any code. Can't show off how clean our code is or anything like that. Sucks, right? But whatever. I know you guys are dying to see it. And anyway, but still, dev streams, I really genuinely miss doing them. It was really fun to just be able to hang out with chat, listening to cool music and chill music and just code, showing off progress as we do it, as opposed to here's an update, enjoy it.
Yeah.
So yeah. But it's been very nice overall. It's been worth it. It's been worth the trade-off. In the end,
I'm really glad that we have been able to bring more people on though. The fact that getting Lumia and Rio on has been so nice. But,
BLT as well was an extra
ad.
Of
course, yeah. BLT wasn't there from the start. Yeah.
Yep. So basically, the people that have contributed and showed continued interest in coding, we brought on. So yeah, lots of fun. But cool. All right. were people going back when I was flicking through the slides and redeeming the keys? That's okay. That's whatever. All right. Let's move on to the next question.
Yeah. Next question by J Swag. Will we be able to customize our player model's color? If so, will it be able to change the primary and secondary colors with custom RGB value?
I mean, this is more of a question for false, because we do have the trim, I think, of the model. And we could have, if we had
against it when you didn't want to do too much. Because color customization is quite lazy in a way. But I do wonder with the trim on this player model, something really subtle.
Right. That's what I mean. It's subtlety.
Implement TF2's paint stuff.
Yeah.
So, the thing with TF2 paint, right, is the main purpose of that becomes have the most obnoxious green hat in the server, as opposed to And there's kind of always a thing with cosmetics where like you got to like
you have to design them to be paintable. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Ugly.
Well, I think we'll have some really funny cosmetics. Like I absolutely want to make the defrag snap HUD hat thing, which is just so funny.
Yeah.
But I mean, we do have a little bit of blue trim on the player model, so maybe
right. So like having a mask for that, I mean, it gets complicated because you have to player. It's like you'd have to have a color proxy to a CVAR, which I think is possible. I think you can actually. There might even be some in this version of the engine that, and then you would you would just use the combo.
You send over. You're just sending over like a color string, right?
Yeah, and then using RGBA or just RGB there. I like the idea of subtlety. The problem becomes what kind of player models will we have for like cosmetics and how will it affect them? Because obviously tinting the entire thing a color is really lazy.
Yeah.
But we do want to allow you to customize because people have favorite colors, right? And having some way to show that off too, right? Like I like orange. My Momentum Man will probably have an orange tinge if we do this, right? So like, it'd be cool. Cool to expose, kind of have the layer of like, so there's the earned customization of like what model you're using, and then there's the like personal like customization of like it's not you're not hard coded to a list of things, you're picking a color and customizing further. And then that way if you do a shape, which we'll keep the shapes, you can be a shape.
Wait, will we? Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to at least. And you could do that color for the entire shape. So like that way it's like it's still familiar, but then when we go into the player model realm, we could have that color affect the player model. And then maybe some player models it just doesn't work, right? Maybe you do that player model because you like the player model itself and the ability to customize the color of it. So we could have things like
too.
Yeah.
Where they'll have hats that just aren't paintable. You can't apply anything because some things there's nowhere to put the color without completely ruining the purpose of it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So hopefully that answers that. I think it would be interesting to be able to.
We'll definitely talk about it in the future.
Yeah, maybe the art meeting tomorrow we bring it up. But
yeah.
Cool. All right. We'll move on. Thank you, Jay Swag, for that question.
All right. Next question.
Ajvej.
For the shop with cosmetics, will we be able to submit our own for them to be added?
We mentioned this a bit earlier, actually.
With the workshop. Yep.
And I think I would really like this to be able to do TF2. Like people can make models and submit them. Also keep in mind that we're a relatively limited team that don't have that many modelers on, and we're not going to have like false like sitting in like a basement somewhere just churning out cosmetics constantly. Like to realistically have like a cosmetic system that really has a ton of stuff. Obviously we don't like have a million cosmetics, but we want people to be able to like customize to the point of actually feeling like individualized, unique. And the only feasible way we do that, in my opinion, is to get community contributions, and that's great because we want to encourage people to do that, especially for like young sort of up and coming modelers and stuff, people just getting into 3D work. I think it's really, really great to give people the opportunity to get something like this in game, and some big streamer might use your silly hat you made or whatever.
Yeah. There's no money to be had, but
exactly. So in a way, that's quite freeing.
Yeah.
We don't have to worry about all that financial shit. Don't expect that by you getting a hat in, you're ever going to like make a profit on that. But
paying you an exposure, no. But it would be. I mean,
that's something we've been making incredibly clear from the start that don't do this if to get a financial thing. We obviously like it's great when artists can make money, but like you're in the same boat as us in that we don't make money in the same way, right? But I don't know. I just think it would be a really awesome way to like have real like community input, and also just the state of like the modeling scene is so much better. Like Blender is in an incredibly good position where I mean I think False is currently learning Maya because it's more useful for job stuff a bit, but to a decent extent you can still learn Blender and that be a sound way of getting into modeling, which is free, right? You don't need to fork out a ton of money to buy like 3ds Max or
Maya.
some soft image shit or whatever anymore.
Maya's expensive.
So, right. So, it's a really and if you want to learn modeling, get into stuff like that. Could be a really good way of doing it.
We could have, touching on that, we could have what we did in December with the team members making shit in Blender. We could have a larger community style, hey, we're making a new main menu background. Who wants to make models and stuff for it, and just basically a month long, like, learn Blender with the team on Twitch. We could just incorporate all of that either as cosmetics if they're good enough, or like just background main menu background stuff. So stuff like that, community building would be awesome, I think.
Yeah. And again, the fact there's no money involved, I think, is just a good thing. It just means that we don't want people doing stuff just because they think they're going to make easy money from it or something, right?
Yeah.
Assuming that means you get slightly fewer people, but if we get, a dozen or so people like having fun making momentum cosmetics, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Cool. Was there any other input for this? All right. Thank you, Ajvej, or Ajvej, for that. We'll move on to the next.
All right, Cawu again. Ask, what access do you have to player stats? How many people receive playtests? How many hours played, etc.? Can you share any with us?
Absolutely. Yep, I'll take this one. So SteamDB is really nice. Lovely website. Stores literally everything about your game, including when you release playtest and nobody fucking noticing. We were on the front page of SteamDB and like as a new game and worried for like a day straight of like, oh shit, are people gonna see it? But I'll go to questions only. I got some graphs. So yeah, this is just, you can go on SteamDB for the playtest. That's the URL up there. 84 people played the game. I don't know how accurate this is. It probably is. Who knows? Our game sucks. No, just kidding. But yeah, there's SteamDB. Pretty good graphs, kind of good estimates on who's playing. I don't know how they get this.
The graph, it's all right.
Yeah. It's not as good as another one that's about to be in game. But yeah, it's interesting data. So like I took this like 3 hours ago. There were 25 people playing. But yeah, it's kind of cool. I can't believe it. Dead on arrival game, dude. Not the beach volleyball. Anyway, yeah, so yeah, this is just SteamDB. However, there's there's the partner stats, and hopefully I don't get in trouble for showing some of these. So the playtest dashboard, right? We have, and I constantly show this when I drop access, or I used to when I was dropping access. So we have 5,536 people with access, 6, and then 11,876 people waiting for access. Every single person waiting for access is going to get access. Don't worry. I know that's a large number and 50 is a very small number, but we're going to be increasing the number over time and then eventually going completely public. So it's, again, like we want to get the game into a better state before just adding more people in. And then bottom left here, you can see this isn't accurate, but this is actually the main game. We generated 857 keys for like the main Momentum Mod app ID. And then apparently, according to this, we have 46 daily active users. So take that, SteamDB. I don't know. I have no idea. Like there's no breakdown of like what that 46 means. I think that's people playing the main app ID. I don't know. And then median time played, 33 hours.
I think that's the original key people, maybe?
I would assume. I don't know. But the wish list,
daily active users,
for 25,866 wish lists out of the 16K that signed up. It's just amazing. Amazing to see these numbers. And then on the right here, you could see just measured from the 842 lifetime unique users, there's an average time played of 170 hours, a median time played of 33 hours, and then how that breaks down, the majority of people have played 97, have played 10 minutes, 94 have played 30 minutes, 91%, which is well above average as compared to other Steam games, have played over an hour. So going down to 100 hours. You can see that curve down here at the bottom. It's 0 to 5 hours. There's around like 200, and then it kind of tapers down, and then it shoots back up right at the end there for 100+ hours. So
I wonder how common it is with other games, if that's quite a common trend you see.
Yeah, right. It's like a U shape.
I mean, I think momentum more than like most other a lot of games, right? It's just
I think mappers are kind of padding out the average a little bit.
Maybe
a
little bit.
Yeah, they just leave momentum running while in hammer the entire time.
Yeah.
I've had momentum open. I've not been playing it for the entire time the stream.
Yeah, it's great. I have 800 hours in the main app from just dev, and that's over the 3-year kind of period. But yeah, it's pretty cool. And this, again, these two bottom things are the main app ID. These are the old keys that we used to give out. We don't give out these keys anymore. We give out the playtest keys. And then the top bar up there is also playtest. So technically 5,536 people have access, but not all of them have played at the same time. And I'm hoping that the number goes up too with, over time as we add more maps and stuff and learn section and stuff. There's a lot of people that have found momentum because they're looking for like free to play games and stuff, and they're interested in it. We've had people join the Discord and tell us about that. And so, we have to be able to cater to those people, and we don't have the learn sections in place for that yet. And yeah, it's honestly just overwhelming, really, like to see just how much, and we're not even advertising the game. We're not even, Seagull just shouted us out on his stream, like looked at our Steam store page and showed a lot of interest in playing it. So we're going to be reaching out to Seagull, maybe seeing, like, he wants to play it near release, and that's actually kind of perfect for us because we want to reach out as we approach 1.0 to kind of drum up the hype for 1.0. Yeah,
well, I mean, we've not been promoting the playtest that much, right? Which has been like, we don't necessarily want to get, as many people as possible sign up. Like, we don't gain from having like 1 billion people in the playtest, exactly, right? The playtest is something for like the people that are like already interested in the game, especially to get more involved with it and to get in.
And to get others involved as well, because it's now it's open for them to potentially get their friends in too. And as we've heard in our Discord, that is literally who's getting in. People find it, sign up.
It's pretty much all like word right? But when we actually promote 1.0, we're going to do so much more.
Absolutely,
like, not really making an effort to promote. Like, me and Tradox are gonna just go on like a warpath doing all the media.
Yeah.
That'll be really fun.
From TikTok, from Twitter.
Yeah, the TikTok is gonna be
our YouTube. Yeah, I mean,
Still don't know why we have a TikTok.
Getting the word out there, and it's very true. Also, as mentioned in chat, some people don't play because of the times being wiped, and that's absolutely true too. It's a lot of people don't want to keep playing because we're gonna wipe multiple times. So right now we're really hoping that people are playing it, mapping, creating original content for it, as well as breaking the game and letting us know how they broke it. That's really what we're looking for out of the playtest right now. After 0.11, when all of the refactors are done and really the next wipe is going to be 1.0, we can really open it up and start stressing huge lobbies, or looking at how our website's handling everybody fucking submitting maps at the same time. So stuff like that, that's going to come later, and that's what we'll really start pushing. And then, like, we clean all of it up, we get all of that ironed out, and then 1.0 is just this giant floodgate literally opening for thousands of players to go and play maps and set times. And so I am really, really excited to get the game to that point, because it's inevitable, obviously. But also, I just realized, what is the spacing that I chose to do with these images? OCD. Anyway, ignoring that, so honestly, I'm so pumped to see how these numbers grow and change. Wish lists, that's only going to exist until the game releases, right? But having potentially 30,000 people, I mean, this wish list number goes up a couple hundred every time I check. Maybe even a couple thousand if I don't check in a while. But it's incredible. And it's probably going to go well over 30,000 by the time we actually release. So. And same with the playtest numbers. Like, I'm hoping that, as people get more and more access to the game, and we're dropping regular 500 key drops every day to get that number down again. people are getting in and enjoying it and seeing what it's going to be like and reporting bugs. Yeah. And then we release a stellar 1.0 and everything just counts.
Pretty good.
So it'll be nice. But yeah. So hopefully that answered that question. We'll go back. Hi, we're back. So hopefully that helps. That's the stats that we have right now, and I'm sure it'll change. We don't have stats access to the playtest. At least I didn't know where to find it. I'll look deeper. We could probably show off more stats. That was the main app build. So if there's playtest stats, which I'm sure there is, SteamDB finds a way. So I'm sure there's some page somewhere I wasn't looking at for playtest stats. So yeah. Moving on.
I think we
sorry.
over a question by Ark. Like
I was on the card. Momentum.
Oh no! I pasted the images in the wrong one. Sorry about that. Oh no. I was wondering why I had an empty slide. I was like, fuck, that was because I posted the image. Okay. Anyway, sorry. Just ignore the stuff that's behind us. Hiding the key if you didn't get the key.
No worries.
Tom, get out of the way.
Yeah. Ark asks, now that momentum is not marked as a mod on Steam, are we able to make items for the Steam point shop?
What is that?
I'm going to lean on, I think no, because it's still economy. We don't have an economy tab.
Economy, yeah.
So like on our page, even as a game, we do not have an economy tab. They disabled that. They're able to toggle us between mod and game, which we're going to reach out and make sure that we stay as game, just to triple check with Valve to make sure that we're staying as game. But we can't get economy because of that hard-coded like block on us of like, yeah, we can't make money from the game. So I don't think so. I'd like to, first of all, get the mod situation ironed out in writing, in an email, like, hey, we're a game, and like getting that confirmed. And then after that, we can look into, can we have some stuff on Steam Point Shop? I don't know. I don't think we can have any economy. I don't know if it is money related actually either. I might be mistaking it for something else, like the gems or whatever. But oh wait, no, they changed the gems to points. That's right. Yeah. Anyway, I remember looking into it and we couldn't because there was no economy tab. We can have items like Steam inventory items, and we might be using that for cosmetics to like mark what you have, right? We'll see. But then like I don't know like how the point shop ties in with that. So we can't have achievements, or sorry, no, trading cards. That's it. We can't have trading cards because those are marketable by default. So no trading cards there, which sucks. But maybe Steam Point Shop, that'd be cool. Maybe I just have to look. But yeah,
aren't a lot of the Steam Point Shop stuff things that you can actually trade and sell on the Steam market, or is that something else?
That's a good question. If it's under the economy tab, we can't do it.
You can sell like profile backgrounds on the market.
Right.
So like, I don't know if we can.
Can you buy them with Steam points and then like sell them on the market? I don't know. That's a lot of questions.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. The main thing is just like under our economy tab, it's like blocked. Like it's just you have to. It says you have to contact Valve, like Steam support, in order to enable this. Well, and obviously, if we do that, they're gonna be like, "What about the agreement, bitch?" So yeah, we're gonna honor our agreement. Obviously, we don't want to. So it wasn't locked behind mod. I mean, well, it was. As a mod, you get significantly less options in the dashboard, but not even like early access or anything. And as we found out, not even playtest. So yeah, fun. Yeah. So hopefully we get to stay as a game, but have I don't know if we'll be able to have Steam Point Shop. We'll look into it. If it's under the economy tab, I don't think so.
Really nice, constantly waiting on emails from Ralph. It's good. Give me something to look forward to every week in the meetings.
Yeah.
Response from Steam.
Yeah. So
wait till next week. Bye.
Yep. So it's gonna be fun, but hopefully that helps answer that. I'll look into it, give more of an official answer, I think, in Discord, if I find it. I don't think we can. So.
Oh god, I think my webcam froze again.
You're staring at the cats behind you.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right. Thank you, Ark. We'll move on to the next question.
All right. Cawu asks, momentum implies both a mass and a velocity. How heavy is a momentum mod?
Thanks.
I did joke about, like, because, all the TF2 players have, like, different weight. You could make, like, a momentumometer. That would be really stupid.
The energy speedometer, taking into account mass to calculate. I mean, this also ties in with the campaign. Maybe playing the campaign will give you an answer for this. We might have a tongue-in-cheek momentum mod reference in the campaign that might have a mass, and it's not Momentum Man. So we'll see. And then Tom answered 6, which is also the right answer. So
it's true.
There you go. Okay.
Campaign?
Yeah, we're having a campaign.
Campaign, baby. Emphasis on the pain. Yeah.
Pain.
No, but yeah, we are, for 2.0, we are planning to have an original campaign that has the currently planned Surf, Bunny Hop, Rocket Jump, and Sticky Jump. But it's open for other campaigns in the future, or if we get more mappers involved, we could do it for them too. So, yeah. Absolutely. And it'll have like a guided tutorial that brings you into the... Yeah, we have a lot of really great stuff planned. So after 1.0, you're going to actually... A lot of our Q&As are going to be talking about it, so...
Yeah, the story is mostly on fingerprints.
Yeah, Tom and myself.
You have too many hats on.
It's on hold right now because we got 1.0 to
1.0 is like
the biggest priority. It could be done in parallel, but we don't have the head count for it. If we had like an actual dedicated campaign writing and story and art team, we would be doing it. But right now we need to focus on what base assets do we need?
Yeah, it's just yeah.
Other stuff matters more right now.
Yeah. Cool. So hopefully that answers that, Cawu. Thank you for that question. Moving on.
Just your eventual ruler asks, will there be functionality for having multiple turn bind speeds at once? If not, will manually scripted binds be allowed in the configs? This is a tough one.
There was a forum thread about this.
Binds.
I've not read it. I can't remember where it went. I think most people were in favor of keeping it, allowing you to have multiple yaw speeds.
Yeah.
Which I guess is kind of the topic of this question, or it is. Yeah. I don't know. A lot of it seems to be people, saying you shouldn't be able to have multiple yaw speeds because, in theory, you could sort of cheat with it.
Yeah.
By doing like a bunch of spins perfectly or something. I'm really not sure how true that is, and I think that's quite just a heavily sort of theoretical argument where has anyone actually done that on the servers where that's allowed? It seems like no. But
not that you know of.
Yeah, but
yeah, I don't know. This is more of a community question. I would be I think the rule of kind of binding one key to do one thing could apply where you have kind of a toggle bind between two numbers and you can hit one key to toggle between the two, and then that way it's you still have to press a key to do it. The original question, it was kind of a lengthy one, so it couldn't fit all of it. The original first part of the question was could we have some sort of plus left and it takes two values, and it's it cycles between the two values for yaw speed or something like that. And it's just at some point we have to realize what turn binds are actually being used for other than spinning, and what allowing more than one value for it would do during a run. So
it's just people that want to be able to do multiple spins and stuff, and I just used to it.
Well,
if you get super low sense, then
so really, most of the time, people will be able to just have one yaw speed and then make adjustments just with their mouse.
Yeah.
So I don't think that having multiple is much different from that. I guess it removes a little bit of skill.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Link the forum thread here if anyone's interested.
Yeah.
I feel like Paddy's message there in favor of keeping it. Those arguments seem pretty sound to me.
Yeah.
But yeah.
This is definitely something to discuss on the forums, if possible. And it's when it comes to binds, obviously we want one key kind of doing one thing. So having a key, like we're not gonna have plus weight. I think weight's already been removed. Not plus weight, just weight. Yeah. It's already been removed. We don't want you. Yeah. The Trico's question of scripting now falls into place here of like, we don't want you to basically press a key and have it do everything for you. We'll have a task mode, so you can do that, but we won't really allow.
It gets rid of so much of the really powerful stuff you can do with
There's still a lot, though. I think there was exploration into what could be done in terms of like aliasing and aliases and
right,
giant configs, loops.
No, you can't do a loop without plus weight. It will crash you.
Oh yeah, I think something like that. But there's a lot of discussion to be had around like what should particularly be allowed to be changed during a run in particular. So yaw speed being changeable during a run isn't on the ticket right now, but I think it is allowed right now. We just have to figure out like what the community truly desires from it. So forum posts, Discord messages will be kind of determining over time. So hopefully that helps. Hopefully that answers that. We'll go ahead and move on. Thank you, Just Your Eventual Ruler. We already answered Vadeblade, so we'll move on. Cool. Oh boy, a very topical question.
Cawu asks, when should I ask for a key? Should I be surprised if I don't get a key? Does whining about it increase my chances? It's pretty obvious. No. Something I do want to say about it is there's been a few times where like I see somebody that I think should have a key, and then I go to give him a key, but then I like go on their Steam profile and it has like an N word or something. So just just don't do that kind of things. Like it's surprisingly often. I don't know if anybody's watching, but if you have something like that in your profile, you may not have a key just because you had that in your profile. But
yeah,
I just want to get that out there.
Yeah. For me, I go off of the fact the frequently asked questions in our Discord have 5 requirements that I'm looking for. So people that have contributed to the site repo. I mean, you could try to contribute to the game repo, but it's not easy really anymore. But it used to be there too. Discord bot, things like that, contributing to that, like I guess any art or anything for us too, like any textures or whatever. Then the second one is mappers of any supported game mode that you can use momentum and test your maps and utilize momentum's features and stuff to make cool maps. Any mappers. You just need proof that you're a mapper. So hopefully you've released a map.
I've given out lately have just been people with mapping experience from other games, expressing some interest in momentum.
Yeah.
Like at this point, I feel like you can get a key. Or someone who was the other day, doing some CS:GO mapping stuff. Who just mentioned not having a key, and I just instantly gave him one. Because getting I don't know. Typically, if you just go around just asking for a key, it's not going to make anyone want to give you a key. Everyone that doesn't, loads of people want keys. Just just the fact of it.
Yeah, and the main thing is that getting access like now,
Right.
we're trying to gauge whether or not you will fully utilize it. We've had hundreds of people say that they're surf pros, that they're AHop pros. I'll give so much feedback, and never do it. They like consistently never do it. I think the people that like have never said that they'll give feedback give the most feedback to us. It's amazing how inverted it is. But that's what like turns us off from like, yeah, that's great that you've played CS like a shit ton, but it's like nobody's saying, oh yeah, this thing's broken. It's like nobody tested like this, and it just gets frustrating. And so it's just like, yeah.
The difference is that like some people will use it for another reason other than just giving feedback, and they will be the ones like running into most of the issues.
Yeah.
And, like if someone wants a key specifically just to give feedback, they're not going to be doing as much with the game, I guess.
So I mean that's why we're trying to look at people that could stream it all the time, because you're at least going to be playing it and have, you know, some background stuff for us to look at. I mean, I removed that from the key thing too, because there's somebody that didn't stream for over like a year coming back and be like, I'll think about coming back to Twitch if you give me a key. It's like, that's not how that's gonna work. Thank you. It's just
people that, like, are just nice and like in the Discord, like giving good comments and stuff.
Yeah.
A way, like, if you give those people a key who haven't asked for it, they tend to give good feedback. Like the people that are just genuinely like enthusiastic about the project, and like I get why people really, really want keys, but like
So, yeah, like I don't want people to take it personally because we've been through so much with giving out keys. Like we've had probably every situation of keys, and so right now it's we give it out to the people that are most enthusiastic about it, people that could also create content for us in the future, mappers, people that have contributed before. We want to reward in any way, right? Fruits of your labor, etc. But otherwise the playtest is aiming to be the people that are really into surf. Go sign up for the playtest. Like that. I know you are. I know you're really into surf. I'm really into surf. I want to fucking play this game too, right? Like, just please, like, please just sign up for the playtest, and we do appreciate your patience as we're working towards opening it up. The game is going to be completely public and completely free. You know, getting access now is nice, but if you're not going to give us any feedback, it is a wasted key in our eyes. It is completely wasted. You'll have fun. I'm not saying for you it won't be wasted, but for us it's not as valuable as giving it to somebody that could stream it, you know, almost every day or like every weekend or something, or giving it to somebody that creates maps that could use the actual game to test their maps, things like that. Like that's more valuable in our eyes right now, and that's why it's like I think the fourth point is certified like game QA people that have reported bugs and like was hired and or, you know, volunteering and doing that, because that's what we want. We want people to report bugs in detail so we can fix shit. Like we want to fix the game and not just give it to a surfer for them to play, and then I see in my Discord DMs that they're playing CS:GO literally hours after they have played. Like, okay. It's like, cool, another key wasted, and it's just it sucks over time. And so like at this point, sorry for bitching for this long, but it's just at this point we'd rather have people sign up for the playtest and just remain patient, and just if there are mappers, people that could use the game in its current state to help with their content, either influencer, we used to have an influencer thing, but now it's like it's transitioned over to just you're active or in around, because it's like people or like, I have 2 followers on TikTok. Key? Maybe? Question mark? And they keep PMing me every hour, and it's like, no. No. Anyway, yeah, sorry. Again, just had to rant, because it's frustrating. I do this a lot during our team meetings, too. It's fun. But again, we do appreciate everyone's patience, because it is going to be open. You will have, like, I'm telling you, by the end of this year, right? If if we release, I don't know, I'm not a fortune teller, but if we release, we'll all be looking back at this being like, wow, that was a wild time. The game is so much more polished and great because everyone has access, and it's like, I'm so glad that, you know, I was patient for this. Anyway, yeah. So whining about it, whining that you've heard of the game 2 months ago does not put you in a positive light in our eyes. We feel sympathy for how long you're waiting. We understand. We've been waiting the longest for this game to come out. Trust me. But whining about it does not... We even have a sticker now that we can spam in response to people moping in our Discord that they did not get access. Just please be patient. That's all we're asking for.
It's also just... It's statistically, loads of people aren't going to get access. Like, just saying that, like, oh, I'm one of this statistic that is obviously going to be the case, like, doesn't... Okay.
I'm one of 99.8%. Whoa, or something. You know, like, it's like, yeah, we know, and we'll be increasing the daily number, and slowly but surely that 11,600 or whatever will go down to 0 most likely, right? Like, we want to get it in a spot where we're comfortable with everybody having access and playing it. And so just please remain patient.
It isn't us saying, like, don't be enthusiastic at all about the game. We totally get that. It's just, like, going to Discord to, like, you know, check, like, the playtest channel or something for some feedback or something, you just find out that it's someone saying that, oh, my friend got in, like, the other day and he only signed up recently. I don't care. Just...
Yeah. Like, that's, I mean, it is interesting how that anomaly has been the case. Like, people have been like, oh, I signed up, and then I got like 5 friends to sign up, and all 5 of them got access. Like, that is amazing. That shows probably that Steam isn't really being random. And that's nothing we can control, because we literally, our dashboard is just a number. We can filter by country. If we want to give everyone in Australia a key, we can do that. But that's it. It's just a number entry box, a country filter, and submit. That's all we can do. We can't change the order. We could open it. We could fully open it, but we don't want that right now. I mean, we're eventually going to do that, but it's like, it's limited. I'd love to do first come, first serve. Reward the people that were here, right, months ago, waiting for it. Yeah, it's just over time, it'll open up more. It'll flush through. And if you know any mappers that could take advantage of the build, of the tools that we have, that's what we're looking for. I mean, that's the main thing. And then I guess streamers, but that's a loose definition, because we want people that that could show off the game and, you know, kind of just like play it a lot so that we have background stuff. But we've been seeing people, like, again, like, not to nag even more, but people that have been like, oh yeah, I'm a streamer, I'll play it, whatever. And versus just like throwing playtest keys out, we've had more people stream the game from the playtest access than we have given out actual influencer keys. Like, it's amazing. I mean, duh, but also, like, it's really sad that, like, they requested it through that and didn't deliver, and there's nothing holding them to it, because it's a free-to-play game, and I'm not gonna fucking make you sign a contract to play. Anyway, a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
We can retract keys, right?
We can, but it's just like whatever. Just who cares? I'm like, we just tweaked the key requirements and just moving on from there, changing our wording to get everybody to just sign up for playtests and remain patient. And thank you for your patience, because that's we do genuinely thank you for waiting and being and staying enthusiastic about the game. That does a lot for us. It does so much for us to see people hyped for when we post updates, when we do these Q&A streams. It's a lot, and you know, we want to reward that, and we're doing keys kind of through these streams. We'll be granting more access over time. It'd be cool if we could do a Twitch drop for playtest access like that. So we're just promoting people being able to drop in to the stream or something, get access that way. You know, interacting with us, because that's huge. So yeah, just thank you for your patience. Thank you for your patience. Seriously.
Let's move on. Enough rants.
We're gonna move on. Spent like 30 minutes on this.
Yeah,
sorry.
Next question.
Speaking of keys. Anyway.
How will the leveling system work? Will people receive XP for finishing maps or reaching certain times?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have a
That's
big spreadsheet somewhere that I was looking at the other day.
Yeah.
But Scott can explain.
Yeah. We're going to have two systems. Ranked points and cosmetic levels. Cosmetic XP. The ranked points is focusing on the time that you get in a map. And that's it. It's purely based on placement. And promoting people and like promoting group sizes there to work towards something that isn't top 10, right? That's a lot of competition up there, but having groups that you can kind of jump through, progress through as you get better and better at a map, getting more rank points, and then your overall game rank points, right? They sum up to your game mode rank that way. And then there's the cosmetic XP and leveling system that's also tied in with the cosmetic store. So every time you gain XP, you gain units, which is our channel point. It's units that you can spend in the Momentum Mod cosmetic store, and you can buy cosmetics. Never ever going to do random cosmetics. Seriously, like it's such a joke. So you can always buy. You can always save up, work towards something that you actually want to buy. That way, you can do whatever. And then the cosmetic XP that you gain is from playing maps. A unique completion gives you the most. Repeat completions, hitting the individual checkpoint or stage triggers, winning races, playing in races, tournament competitions like that. We could do bounties, like we were thinking about. There's a really good suggestion of like if somebody wants to see a world record for a map hit a theoretical map, you could start a bounty for it and contribute units towards that. And you could get that, though that's actually more of the anyway, that's more of the units. That's not XP. But anyway, there's a bunch of stuff related to that kind of system that will hopefully help you grind. There's going to be challenges as well, the milestone stuff. When you beat, we could also have medal times. We could have things like what is it, like the like bronze, silver, gold, and platinum time kind of gaps. Like, so there's the groups for the rank system, but then there's those medal times, and if you get above that medal time, you get the XP of that medal. So if you get if you get a platinum time, you get all of the XP for below that. So things like that we could try to promote. It is based on things that you're just, it's like filling the gaps, because you should be grinding really good times for the rank points, right? The rank system, but then you should be doing literally everything else should be rewarding you cosmetic XP. And obviously we don't want to make something that's super like grind heavy, so that's why we're promoting you going to play original maps, unique maps that you haven't, and that way you're getting more XP that way, and you're exploring the game more. You're playing modes, right? It's global. It's not per game mode. The cosmetic XP system is every single game mode, so you're playing every mode. You're trying out every mode, getting XP that way. So there's definitely a lot of work to be done there for kind of rewarding just playing the game. And hopefully not making it too annoying, right? Starting off in the map, 100 XP, jumping out of the start zone, 100 XP, stuff like that, right? We don't want to do that. We want to just at least reward progress too, because there's going to be people grinding for times. They're not going to be finishing the map. So we want to still give progress XP basically in that case. So there's there's a lot, not just finishing maps. So, but finishing maps is probably the number one way to get cosmetic XP. Beating maps that you've never played before is the number one way. Everything else would be less than that in accordance to what you're doing. Obviously, it depends on tier as well. So if it's tier 6, you'll get more cosmetic XP, stuff like that. And then the alternate modes as well. So if you're playing, if you're completing maps half sideways and stuff like that, you'll also get XP. So yeah. The Pog Duck, dude, nice.
I love that email.
Oh my goodness,
it's a good email.
All right, I think that's the last. Yeah, that's the last recorded question.
Yeah.
So there's a few Twitch chat questions that we have.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't spend too much on them.
I think the stuff posted in Q&A live since we started, we should do next time.
That's the thing. We could repost them in Q&A live as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm doing okay, Muffin. It's 3 hours of talking. I'm not used to it. I get to do it once every month. or every Saturday in our
I just
team
don't know the
meeting.
attention span. I'm really tired.
Yeah.
It's done midnight here, so.
So we'll play a little bit of Momentum. I'm down.
Yeah.
I wanted to play some Conk. I don't know if somebody.
Gok, are you able to show like a little video on stream?
I don't know. I would have to like capture it. I think I can.
It would be nice to show. End of run's not finished. It's not fully in yet, but I
Yeah.
did do a little video just showing it a bit. Because the end of last stream, Traz like posted in Team Showcase like the mock-up for it.
Yeah.
And the leaderboard chunk of it isn't in yet, but the a lot of the other stuff is in now. In its sort of mock-up, not but in game, but not hooked up with C++.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty chuffed with it. So.
Let me get the playtest running real quick. Switch over to that. Question was defrag? It's Quake 2.
I don't know.
Quake 2, or Quake 3. Quake 2 and 3? I don't know. Quake 3 movement. It is the movement from like CPMA and VQ3. So those two modes, and then we might have a third one with like momentum specific movement, like an original kind of defrag mode as well. So it's it's very, very in our roots, because fun fact, the source engine is based on Gold Source, which is based on idtech. So it goes all the way back. It's Quake all the way down. There's even fucking Quake code in vPhysics. Could you believe it? So yeah, pretty crazy. And so I'm hoping that we do a good enough job of representing defrag in the game, and hopefully people enjoy it. It's a very tough crowd when it comes to that kind of elitism that's still around in there. So, but we're hoping that we can build a mode that a lot of people agree on it feeling nice. That's kind of the main thing. That's the same thing that Climb KZ is going through right now. We're trying to find good base settings that people agree on, and then implementing that. For Quake, it's literally the mode. Yeah. So the last 5 characters of the code, wait for the YouTube upload. Anyway, so I'll play some Conk. I got probably like 5 to 10 minutes before I need to go. And
so you don't want to show off my little thingy then?
I think we should do it next time. I think we'll actually have the end of run stuff in the game, and I want to show it off then.
Sure.
So, but you could also show it off on the stream like tomorrow too. I hate touching OBS that much during the stream. It's just really annoying. I want to show off all my secret Momentum mod Discord porn servers I'm in. I'm in 4 of them, and they're all just nude Momentum Man, and it's we need some variety. Okay, sorry, getting a little off topic.
Let's see.
What does the not in even look like? Sorry.
Just a tire. There's 2 tires down there. Just you don't want to know.
Are the tires a costume, or are they just him?
That's him. That's okay. Let's stop. Let's move on to gameplay plus webcams. That's it. Oh wait, does it not? It's not capturing it. Hold on. Momentum game cap. There it is.
We added a bunch of conk maps.
And then get rid of that in favor of that. That's us. Okay. Cool.
We have so many conk maps.
That's Zyke's doing, actually. So, yeah. So this is Momentum Mod. For those of you who haven't seen the game, we've only seen our very outdated What is Momentum Mod trailer that we will be remaking at least one more time before our 1.0 trailer, which will be effectively the ultimate What is Momentum Mod. Absolutely. So this is the main menu. We got some social links down here. We got our main site, GitHub. By the way, fun fact, if you click on Discord, it actually uses your local Discord client to open the server. I did not know that. That was actually really cool that we added that. But yeah, you can Twitter. We should probably group things. Our GitHub's where we track all of our issues, so that's kind of why we link it there, but it's not as important as I would say our Discord, so we might rearrange these just a little bit. It's kind of fluid, but yeah, some social links there. We have our news. If we end up using, this isn't even hooked up to the playtest news, we actually probably should change it over to that. The problem becomes if you post events to the playtest, it's only for people in the playtest because it doesn't have a Steam store. It's only in the library. Anyway, so we'll see how we want to do that. We could probably have tabs here. But yeah, this is our main UI. This is Panorama. So we have a drawer over here, and this is where you connect to people's lobbies.
Those buttons are gonna do something.
Yeah. These buttons on the drawer.
No, the ones on the right nav.
Oh yeah. The buttons on the drawer tab here. These are tabs. This is coming in a future update too. This is going to be when you click on your profile up here, or on this, you'll have a profile tab here. We'll have your progress in your milestones and stuff like that. You can create lobbies. Lobbies are all through Steam, so you can host a public, friends only, invite only. Max player count currently is 250, as is B Jacko's lobby. And then we'll also have kind of a change log tab there for like the more in-depth changes that we've done. And then up here we have our kind of main tabs up here. So this is to return to this screen, but here's our map selector. This is very beautiful UI, very important UI though. This is your entry point into Momentum, so it has to be pretty important here. But this is every single map you can filter based on every single game mode. You can filter by tier if you want to see a specific tier, or if you want a range of tiers, you can do that. You can do anything. No, I'm just kidding, not anything. But yeah, you can filter by completed maps, you can filter by favorited maps, and this is actually a try toggle state button. So if you filter by completed maps, I've played all of these and completed them. I could filter by not completed maps, so there's the not condition, and then you could have just default both, right? You can have favorite maps. Here's the answer to that, Muffin. Here are my favorite maps. Some of these were just, this one has Gawk in the name, so it's honestly the best. It's the second Gawk. I think this was made, this is made after I was born, so that's why it's Gawk 2. Anyway, yeah, so favorited, you can not favorited maps, downloaded maps, you can filter by all the maps you have locally, not downloaded maps, so if you want to find new maps that you don't have, things like that. Yeah, and then I think there's the sort by, so you can sort by like tiers. So you want to see the harder maps first, easier maps first. Date created, your last played date. We don't currently show it on this list at all. We kind of don't have that much room. We'll see how much info we could actually squeeze into this. But yeah, last played. Yeah, a lot of good. Yeah, date release recent is actually the default. We want you to play newer maps as they come out. The other thing too is unranked. So all of the maps that don't have any like really rank points that get granted show up here. Yeah, and then the beta maps being worked on in progress will also show up here as well. We'll be giving a lot of cosmetic XP to people playtesting and giving feedback to maps in progress. Yeah, you can filter by game modes. You can hide these filters if you don't care about any of them. Gives you a little more space to scroll, and you can also search. So if I want to go to RJ Beef, you can do that. Yeah, a lot of fun. The other button up here is playlists. They aren't in place yet, but the idea is that you can chain together as many maps as you want across any of the modes that you want. This is the AHop gauntlet kind of era, or like kind of style of stuff. We could have official playlists and stuff like for like all tier 1s or something that we just constantly update. We'll see how we're going to implement it, but ideally it'll first start off as like a local map collection. It's just a list of maps that you can play. Yeah, so the other thing too is you'll be able to view the gallery, so all of the images of the map.
Oh yeah, we have to make that stuff.
You can see the leaderboard for the map from the selector right here as well. You can toggle it right there. You can see local if you join a lobby, like I did there. I can see the lobby tab. It'll fetch all of the people's in the lobbies times, and then yeah, your runs, any runs that you've downloaded. Why is that not showing an empty string? Anyway, doesn't matter. Yeah, so pretty cool. We'll hook this up too. You'll be able to watch a replay from the main menu, but we just don't have it hooked up. That's the replay refactor in the future. Yeah, so I guess I'll play some Conk, play some INAFT. Gotta do it. Gotta show off people.
Play the same maps every.
I gotta do it though. I gotta represent Conk. You know, it's the mode.
There's only so many Conk maps.
Yeah.
I just added 1 billion.
They're all hard.
They're all really hard. I don't think I can even do them. And I'm a pretty pretty professional conquer, if I do say so myself. So you can actually see the comparison HUD in the bottom left, that giant honker. That's actually going to be changing to be something in the top left, right here on my webcam. Yeah, it's going to go in the top left and be mainly focusing on times. Your stats, that nobody cares how many jumps you've done in a stage. So like things like that, you know.
I have no idea why that's shown on like the main UI.
Just don't worry about it. It's the 062 days. I always like hand wave it as like this was how we did things back then. Oh my god, barely not enough. So I am in a lobby. Let me explain multiplayer. Got to do it every single Q&A just in case there's new faces. Multiplayer is actually a layer on top of the game. You can host a lobby or join a lobby like I did. If you're not on the same map, it doesn't network anything other than chat. So you can still hang out, you still chat. We'll still have voice chat as well in the lobby. This is one of the examples of hosted lobbies where you create it. You manually actually like create the lobby. But what we'll also have is an automatic version where if you're not in a lobby already, it will either host a public one or join a public one called a roaming lobby, and it's only on this map and only while you're on the map. So like it won't like change map or anything like that. So it gives kind of that server feel. But yeah. Whoa, they all just fucking, that was insane.
Whoa, what the fuck happened there?
That was that's the, I think that's the host like frame rate thing. We only check host frame rate, so when it comes to like spamming and stuff like that, we don't have, oh my god, it's like a laser beam. That's fucking sick. So this is the custom game mode conch laser. Conch beam? Your conch beam. So you, no, it's our system isn't hooked up. It's currently I believe it's like host, was it time? No, frame rate. Host _ frame rate. So because it's 0, yeah, you can change that and spam the shit out of lobbies. We'll fix that. And stuff like that is what we're trying to look into fixing. But yeah, so as you can see, there are other people in my lobby or in my map as I'm playing. And this is how our networking works, is they're just here. They don't affect my game at all. I'm not synchronizing my server with them at all. So I'm just getting this information as they send it to me. And as you can see, they were sending a bunch of conchs that will have rate limiting and stuff in the future too. So yeah, this is kind of just how our multiplayer's like set up. You get network data as you get it, and that way you have the best of both worlds. You have people that you can in the pause menu come to and just spectate, right? And now I'm like spectating. Oh yeah, that's right. We need to fix no clipping. Was it no clipping into the void when you're spectating doesn't show the entire map like it should. Are those rockets? Oh my god, the fucking sound system just died. That's pretty good. This is the old VGY spec HUD, by the way. We're working on improving. Oh, they're just black marks on the ground. You made like a black hole. What the fuck? Okay, anyway, our UI is kind of in disarray until like 092 and stuff. So
yeah, new spec stuff coming soon as well. So
yeah, so you can spectate basically anyone in the lobby if they're on the same map. But if they're not on the same map, obviously you can't spec. You have to join them on their map.
I feel like we don't talk enough about how crazy it is that this stuff is like just works and it's great.
Yeah, right?
Like, you don't need central servers like this. You don't need to pay for server hosting.
This is all done through Steam. No port forwarding or anything. It's all, you click a button.
It's ridiculous how smooth the multiplayer is. I mean, there's definitely some jank, but honestly not that much.
Right?
Given the state that the game's not finished, but also like the fact this whole system like works as well as it does is amazing.
Yeah. Damn, too early. But yeah, people can play whatever. You can hear the sticky bomb launcher. That's what that like chugging noise sounds like. People can play whatever mode they want. And it's like it doesn't affect you. Like there are different like tick rate and stuff. Though there is, I think, a bug with tick rate right now. We have to fix packets being, or like spectating being jittery. Oh, what the fuck? Guess I gotta stand like right here. No, a little bit further over. Probably also drop conch this, but there we go. The fuck?
This map is fantastic.
Water
Is that? Oh, that's paint. Oh, there we go. It's the rocket load. Let's go. Oh my fucking god. Yeah. So anyway, we got some work to do. But this is what I mean. We need people to find that you can shoot 1 billion rockets, right? Like we need that breakage because that's how we get a better game in the end. No, I jumped. I didn't mean to jump. I was supposed to just crouch there. Or not. Is that too early? Bug. I think this might work. No, I gotta get the second. Hold on. I got this.
Bonk is so fun.
Oh, okay. Hold on. There we go. I think that's it. Oh my god. Like literal fucking like terrorism over there.
A lot of people in there.
There's so many people. There's so many rockets too. Anyway.
Oh, sure, I'm not.
Momentum Mod stream crashes due to rocket spam. I'm surprised it's handling it this well, you know? I am genuinely surprised it's handling it this well.
He's like,
damn.
I left my game on for like 2 hours with no like, with just being able to spam rockets and it worked. So.
Yeah. Oh my god.
That's how I
That's
had,
a
like,
terrifying
like
noise.
static.
What the fuck? That was like a fucking nuke. Crouch jump? Okay, alright. I'll crouch jump on the con. If I don't get fucking nuked. Alright, there we go. Oh, let's go! PB. Yeah, someone in the lobby is asking for a key. I gotta give him one. So yeah, so that run just uploaded. Pretty good PB.
that UI is getting nuked in a minute.
Yes, that's the old end of run tab, the old gray box. Oh my god, the game actually crashed. Let's fucking go. All right. Anyway, that's a good ending to the stream. That's all I wanted to do. I just wanted to play some conk and show off multiplayer in its broken state. We'll fix it. Don't worry. That's also why we don't want to open the floodgates, because that shit happening for everyone is not a good look. Really, but that is pretty funny that it was fucking
the frame rate or the amount of shit you can do per frame and then just spamming rockets. Is that it?
Yeah, it's post frame rate.
We just don't rate limit packets on the receiving end. That's what we're gonna do first, and then we just accept it. We just accept packets as you get them.
Oh, but what do you set host frame rate to do that? How does that even work?
Frame rate, it's what servers use basically to decide how fast they're simulating things, I think.
Yeah, something like that. So I think it's like I don't know, just one? Like, is it 1.0 or something? I don't know. Has the key been given away by painting its code on the wall yet? Not yet. It's a good point. good idea for a future stream. Or in chat, in the in-game chat. Though I think somebody in the lobby would just snag it anyway. Anyway, that's it. That's it for the stream. We answered all the questions we wanted to. Is there anyone streaming Mommy Madi? No. Crap. Does anyone want to stream?
Streaming, no.
Who?
Streaming.
Oh, Louis. Let's go read Louis. All right. You all know what the raid message is. Please play conk smile. You can use any smiley emoji. Oh wait, how do you spell it? Louis. All right, there we go. Cool. Thank you all for watching, for asking excellent questions. Please get them into our Q&A live channel in our Discord, so that we can properly do it, or properly handle the questions and get like proper data and stuff ready beforehand. Thank you all for watching. Appreciate you all. Take care and have a good evening / whatever time of day. Yeah. Bye-bye.